more about you coming in fresh.
All right, ready?
Popping and rocking.
Cheers!
Full on quarter notes,
Yeah,
real
good
strong,
tempo.
strong rhythm. I didn't get you. There you are.
I was gonna hit this thing, but I gotta give it the old gentleman's swirl.
All right, Mr. Mario, what is this podcast called?
Consistently off.
Hey! Whoop.
Oh, it's going.
All right.
It was on.
I love that. Did you see it? Did you see it down here?
It was going.
I didn't see it down
I
there.
heard it earlier.
Yeah! That's
It's
always
not
a
consistently off unless...
I know.
I mean, it makes it better.
Yeah.
That's
cool.
the first time that's happened.
Yeah. What do we got? Number
217.
Number
217.
217. Welcome back, everyone. It's consistently off, and we are here. It's Mario Dileva from VinegarHill Studios. What's happening, man?
Yeah.
Hi, how's it
Hi.
going? Excited to be here.
Welcome.
Thanks for cruising. Yeah, get comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Take
I'll
it wherever you
adjust
need
it.
to.
Yeah, get all up on
Sounds
it.
Good, you
good.
have armrests. They're meant to be mangled, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
We're drinking old fashions tonight. Is this a staple
Yes.
for you?
Little bit.
Uh-huh.
I remember was one of us that we were having a conversation the last time at Boomtown Brewery.
Shout out Boomtown.
Ah.
Shout out
Shout out to Boomtown Brewery. That was the show we played together when I was playing with the Dancing Skeletons.
Yeah. Great
And,
set, by the way.
Yeah.
Thank you. You
Yes.
guys too.
Thank
Oh,
you.
thanks.
Yeah. And I don't know how we got on the topic. I think you were just saying drink of choice, or we were
Yeah,
talking about
exactly.
something, and
Yeah. It's
old fashioned came up in
it's a
conversation.
good staple as long as you're not
Yeah.
like the diviest dive bar ever.
Sure.
Yeah, it's hard to
Yeah.
mess up. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I'm hesitant. Certain bars.
Oh, sure,
ordering
sure.
old fashioned
But,
sometimes.
you know,
Yeah.
it is a measure. Let's say that. It's
I'm
a
not going to the
measuring
doll
stick
hut
for-
and getting a fucking
Old
Whoa.
fashioned. Yeah.
fashion.
No,
I'm not going to the doll hut, period.
I'm
So,
getting
yeah.
something in a can or a,
They don't serve alcohol, so
or a bottle
there's
at the doll hut.
Really?
Yeah, they're beer only, I think.
Yeah. I'm getting something in a can or a bottle. If I,
Oh, yeah.
And so I trust
I
you know,
meant spirits. Sorry.
spirits. Is there anything like a soju place? Is like bourbon your go-to spirit? Whiskey?
Between that and gin.
Oh.
I'm actually a big
Okay.
gin fan.
Yeah.
I was almost going to say that, like a gin and tonic or something.
Oh yeah, we would have done that.
But,
Next time, of course.
Yeah,
We,
for
we
sure.
like to adventure too and try different gins because there's a lot of good gins.
Yeah,
out
there are.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you have a hierarchy on whiskeys?
You know, for old fashions, if I go to a bar, it's usually Woodford Reserve.
Oh,
Okay.
come on,
That's
of
one of my
course.
favorites.
Yeah.
We just finished that bottle off on
Yeah,
we
Tuesday.
did.
Tuesday.
Sorry.
We had
Oh,
some.
nice.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But yeah, Woodford.
Nakers is great. Or
Yeah.
Bullet.
Bullet.
bourbon. Those are like my
Bullet's
top
good.
three
Uh-huh.
for
so
sure.
so you stick to the bourbony area, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I guess old fashions kind of has to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you had the Woodford Double Oak?
No. That
It's
sounds-
even like,
Yeah.
not warmer, but like not it sweeter, I guess. It's just a little bit sweeter.
Okay.
Woodford already has that nice home,
Yeah.
big blanket feeling.
It does. It does.
Spoken like an alcoholic, I
Yeah,
suppose.
You know, I was given Knob Creek once.
Oh,
as
the
a
Knob.
gift.
We
For
have some
old
knob right
fashioned.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. It's a
Knob in there.
little strong, I think.
It is.
It's like 100 proof or something.
if
isn't it?
you're interested, second
Yeah.
old fashioned could be some.
God.
if you're interested.
I'll stick to
If
some
you give me
I know.
double the ice cubes, I'll do it.
Okay, all right, sure.
I just
fair
need
enough.
to water that shit down. Just like that Whistle Pig was good once I got the ice cubes. Like
Yeah,
in
are
it.
you a rye fan at all?
I don't know enough of it. I've
Yeah.
tasted Whistle Pig, but
Yeah,
I
Craig got
mostly
some
stick to
fancier
bourbon.
one.
Yeah, I've had some good ryes.
I like rye all
One of
right.
the best ryes I had was Michter's rye.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
Oh, you had Pappy Van Winkle.
No. Gins, what's your go-tos?
Ooh, has to be Hendrix.
Hendrix. That's my dad's
Yeah,
favorite. Yeah.
that's cool.
In fact, I'm getting him some for Christmas. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I was going to see if you were a Sapphire man, but Hendrix.
You know what?
Hendrix.
I
found
was
out-
Hendrix
until
up there.
Hendrix.
Until.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found out I do not like Bombay Sapphire
Oh, the Saf.
or Tanqueray, to be honest.
Really?
Whoa. All right.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I really like the Hendrix. Hendrix,
Yeah,
I
Hendrix
think is the
it's
best.
the jam.
The
Yeah.
other one that when did we have the other day with? Well, actually, 2 D&D episodes ago.
Oh, yeah,
it's
some fancy
little,
thing.
It's some little
Dude.
maker. I think it's
Oh,
Vietnamese or
we
something.
need to look that up because
Yeah.
like we gotta tell him because that's like one of the best.
Yeah,
Yeah,
gins
that was a
ever.
very
Yeah.
good one. It was, and the bottle looked like a hand grenade or something.
Whoa.
Well,
Yeah.
it's like really
The
pretty.
holy hand grenade.
Like yeah,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
we'll
you'll
find it. We'll find
I'll
it.
find it. Give me a
Uh,
sec.
No worries.
Well, yeah, gin and tonic lime.
Yeah, you know what? One of my favorites is I actually found it on the website because I got super into gin at one point.
Yes.
Yeah.
I actually went and looked up like on the Hendrix website.
Oh, please.
Oh, what did
And they
it
had
look
this
like?
this cocktail recipe for a Leslie Gracie. I guess it's named after the owner of the company or whoever started the Hendrix distillery. Anyways, it's just Hendrix, soda water, and elderflower liqueur.
Yeah.
Sounds
awesome.
Yes, that'd be so refreshing.
It's actually really good.
Oh, I love me.
When
some
I go to
elderflower
bars,
stuff.
I'll do that a lot instead of like a gin and tonic.
Totally.
Depends on the bar and the bartender.
Yeah, they have to have elderflower shit. You know
That
Yeah, I was
and you
gonna
have to
say, who
explain
cares?
it usually. Can I say Leslie Gracie and they look at me like, what?
Yeah,
You know.
elderflower, Saint Germain.
Saint Germain's.
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, it's gotta
Yeah.
be right. Otherwise, do you have a well?
well elderflower.
I actually there was
I played a show.
Just
I think it was,
homemade moonshine.
Was it the British year in Lancaster? I think that
Sure,
may have been
yeah.
it. They had a well. They didn't have Saint Germain, but they had an elderflower liqueur.
Cool.
Like I never knew
Homemade
that
or
there was
something?
more than one. Yeah, right. Yeah. It's a rare ask.
Yeah, if they have a well Jaeger, you'd be like, wait a second. What do you mean?
Yeah, it's definitely homemade.
Okay. So now I always round out like alcohol conversations with anything is available, anything. It's an open bar. The sky's the limit.
Yeah, you're not paying for it.
Every
God
day,
is. God's
every-
gonna pay for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One drink. What is it?
Ooh.
Long Island.
It would probably have, I guess, in the spirit of something more on the smokier side, have to be a good Scotch, like a Macallan.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Just talking about some scotches too.
Yeah.
Someone
Sweet.
gifted us a blue label for a party.
Oh,
Yeah.
And
that's
so,
great.
yeah, we're gonna have
That's gonna
day
be
after
our
Christmas. We're
day
gonna
after Christmas episode.
we're
yeah.
gonna sit
Yeah.
with it.
That's good.
We're gonna have a chat around.
Fuck,
it.
that's gonna make 3 whiskey episodes in a row.
Wow.
God
Tis the
damn.
season to be whiskey.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, it's raining outside. It's,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
cold.
Fucking-
It's cold.
Yeah, it's-
Baby,
We were
it's
talking
cold
about we're going
outside.
to do eggnogs with it.
I have some eggnog right now.
Wow.
Scotch and blue label and egg.
That's disgusting.
It's gonna be awesome.
Oh.
All right, well then, let's get right into it.
All right.
When did you start recording music?
Oh, well, I'm recording myself in high school.
Yeah.
So like starting on like GarageBand and moving to Logic.
Yeah, how old are you when you start tinkering with GarageBand?
Probably about, 16? Like a sophomore in high school.
Sure.
Yeah.
like
What's
that.
the first instrument?
A bass. Bass is my first
Nice.
instrument.
Fuck yeah.
That's what I
Okay.
started on. Before recording was just playing
Yeah, yeah.
bass, playing in bands. Mm-hmm.
What age did you start playing?
Oh, about, I think 12.
12.
Okay.
Yeah.
So not long after. Yeah.
Did you ask for it? Was it forced upon you?
No, luckily. It's funny. My dad's a bassist.
Oh, there you go.
And he's a righty bassist, but I play lefty.
Ah.
So he took one of his basses. He saw my interest in music and
Was it this?
restrung it, flipped it around.
Flipped it for you?
Yeah.
It's this. I'll screenshot it and send it to your Instagram.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Oh, sorry. It looks like this. Sorry, the thing was
yeah.
all pulled up.
yeah, that's cool. That's cool. It
Yeah.
has like that kind of pineapple design.
Yeah. No, that was some good shit.
Nice.
So your dad's bass, he then strung it upside down for
Yes, one of his. He had a short scale Fender Music Master bass.
you? Oh,
Hell
hell.
Oh,
yeah.
that's.
It was the one he learned on.
Oh, even
Oh, that's
better.
awesome.
Yeah.
So it's like a 19 what?
Had to be from easily the 70s, early
Nice.
70s. Yeah.
So cool.
Do you still have it?
I do. And
God,
it's still
yeah.
lefty.
Yes.
Yes.
And he modified it. He even moved the input jack to the opposite side. He drilled into it. Like it's
Oh,
not worth
hell
anything.
yeah.
That's what's cool. It's pretty punk rock.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Does it still sounds fucking dope, right? Like
Yeah.
Do you
yeah.
use it?
No, I say I'm going to, but I
Yeah,
just,
yeah.
it's hanging on the wall, like how the,
Right.
Sure.
Yeah.
just there.
has it made it onto recordings?
No,
What?
maybe you know what? There was a summer camp I did where it was a summer school. It was actually at Cali Mayor in Torrance, and
Sure.
I went there to kind of brush up on like a math class and an English class, and then there were 2 electives, and one of them was songwriting, the other one was, I think it's some sort of band setting, but just playing in a band ensemble of some kind.
Got it.
And we did a recording there, so I wouldn't say yes. And that was one of my earliest memories, and that's what got me into really doing the music as well, not just playing
Yeah.
at home, but playing in bands and the social aspect of it.
Yeah, totally.
it was kind of funny because there was times where I would end up giving like lessons to the class, but just for no reason. But
Yeah.
the teacher was super cool. I was like, hey, I had an idea. What if I did this? The teacher was like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So I
Let's
went-
work for me.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. And I didn't know a ton of things, but it was just like, hey guys, you want to play bass? Put your hand here and play this.
You just how old are you when you just started teaching people?
Oh, I'd have been 13. I only been playing bass a year.
You just started.
I just started
yourself
taking
in.
over the class. It was kind of funny. Maybe because I'm an only child. And the thing is I was polite about it. I was respectful. Like it was more of a suggestion. Like, hey, would it be cool if I like did like a bass lesson for the whole class?
Yeah.
Because the way the class worked is since it was a band setting.
Sure.
Sometimes the teacher would teach everyone guitar, everyone bass. It was kind of more in the round.
Right.
It depending on the day of the week and whatnot for this summer class. But it was really inspiring, and then that's when I got into songwriting too from doing this class
Sure.
and then
I can
Totally.
imagine.
having
Yeah.
fun. And
So then what? Okay, so what songs are you learning at 12 years old on the bass? Like what are you
Oh.
learning to play for the first time?
I remember the first one that really got me into it was Seven Nation Army.
Sure.
by
Oh, yeah.
White Stripes.
The
Yeah.
the bass line of all time. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mentioned I was a lefty. So my dad's a righty. He's a bassist. He played for a number of years in his teens, 20s, or early 30s.
What kind of bands?
Yeah.
Oddly enough, he actually was in a grunge band in the 90s.
There you go.
Actually got signed at one point.
What
So
was the name?
The name was called Sugarcoat. They ended up getting shelved by Epic.
Oh.
It's a classic
Labels,
story.
bands, yeah.
Bands.
He had two really amazing opportunities in two different bands. One was more of a Latin funk band, but very much not quite Santana, but
Sure.
it was much more in that vein. So it was
Sure.
more pop oriented, not like traditional
Right.
Latin funk.
Right.
However, that band they were pretty big at some point to get traction. And then the biggest one was when he got signed to Epic Records. And then that lasted very shortly. And what the crazy
So did
thing
grunge.
is, so did grunge. Yes, it was back in the '90s. The band was slated to kind of be like the next Garbage because they had a female singer.
Oh,
The
cool.
music's really cool. It's never been released. The only way we have access to the music is during the tracking in the studio. I don't know if it was him or the guitar player brought a blank cassette and told the
No
engineer, "Hey, can you just dub it on this cassette so we can take it home?"
No
And everything else has
way.
been shelved.
Fuck.
Wow.
Yeah, that
That's
was
crazy.
short-lived.
dude.
So
Like even at this point, they won't release that.
I think at one point I think they owed a lot of money to the
Oh.
you know how the labels
Yeah,
work
yeah.
to the studio that were for recording it.
Oh, okay.
And I think the lead singer ended up buying the masters back at some point. But
Okay.
they just abandoned.
Sure.
The reason for the backstory is I had no idea my dad had this whole other life
As a musician.
as a musician, and I was interested in music. And also, my great grandfather, growing up, when I would spend time at his house, he was also a musician, not on a professional level, but he played in bands and would show me guitar and
Cool.
did much more Spanish because I'm half Mexican, half Italian. So on my Mexican side, a lot of Spanish music, cumbia stuff.
Yeah.
It was great, and that got me interested. But I had no idea with my dad. And it was kind of like a movie moment in a way where I showed interest in bass, and then he had this at one point. He kind of busted out his bass, and he was like, "Hey, I got to tell you the story about like all this stuff with
Dude, that is
labels
crazy.
and
That's
shows
amazing.
and,
That
Yeah.
is awesome.
and all this stuff." And
That's
yeah,
really cool.
You said 13. Is that when that happened?
around that age,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like you had a good portion of your life
Without
lived
knowing that.
without knowing a single thing.
Yeah,
And then you
I
showed
knew
interest, and he's like,
we
well,
had
let me
instruments. I
tell
knew
you
he
a
had.
story.
Yeah.
We had instruments around the house. I knew he had a bass. I knew he played bass, but I didn't know that he was signed at one point. And,
Yeah.
You
and-
just
Had a
think-
whole history.
You just think it's like
Yeah.
a thing that he did when he was a kid.
What
And
was
that's
his
like-
job?
so after that band broke up, got dropped from the label, got shelved and whatnot. He for his day job at the time was doing construction contract, woodworking contractor and whatnot.
So like you're like
So-
my dad's a construction worker.
Yeah.
Oh
right?
shit.
Oh shit! He's
Yeah.
also a rock star. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was fun. I was telling a friend the other day. It was really cool. There was this interview with Mike Watt, that bassist.
Yeah.
Where he paid a compliment to my dad. So I was like
Aw,
really
that's fun.
excited about that. So shout out.
Yeah. Shout out, Mike.
I've
Watt.
never said that on air anywhere.
That's
Yes.
dope.
Yes.
But yeah.
That is
So-
great.
That's really
But
cool.
yeah, he's really talented bassist. Doesn't do it much anymore.
Sure.
But yeah, he got in after construction. He got into teaching wood shop, and technology teacher at a local high school and middle school, and then eventually got into like the more administration and was union rep for the Torrance.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
like-
he's retired now, but
So like bass and kind of instructions are
Yeah.
like in your DNA already.
Yeah.
Right?
but it was cool learning about that, and one of the things he's been really both my parents have been really supportive, and throughout high school and even now, especially growing up, my dad was really clear to me about asking me, are you are you sure you want to do this?
Yeah.
When we would do big shows, or when I would play a bigger show or have more of an opportunity when I was younger,
Yeah.
he would say, "Hey, is this still fun for you? Are you still sure?"
Yeah.
Because
Because the second it's not. Yeah.
yeah, that was the thing with him is after I don't know what that. I mean, I've had some experiences where and we all have those stories where you've come close to something big in the industry, and then there's a left turn of some kind. But
every time.
on his scale, where you're already signed to a major label and then get dropped, like
Right.
Yeah, you recorded a whole album, and then
yes,
And
and
then
then
it's
shelved.
shelved.
and then the label goes, "Hey, you owe us money."
You owe us money, or we're not
You're
gonna
like,
give
"You
you.
told us we could go here."
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did this for us.
yeah.
So it's been really cool him kind of just asking me and being really supportive of that and inspiring me to continue to do music.
Yeah.
And then learning about this whole thing.
Is mom musically inclined?
Yes, but not. She didn't pursue music. Like when she was younger, she had piano lessons, and
She
I come
definitely
from
knew he
a-
was in a band, though, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
No, they were married when he got
Yeah.
signed and whatnot.
There
and
you
so,
go. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't until, they even waited a while to have me just because
Yeah.
my parents both thought like this could be
The thing,
the
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Totally.
And they wanted
Yeah.
to just wait, and that was
Yeah.
cool. And eventually, and then I was about a year old when the band broke up or something like that.
Crazy.
And
Nice.
he's like, you know what? I'm gonna do something else outside
Dude.
of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out mom
And
and
he has
dad.
no regrets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, it's like
Yeah.
the way to do it. Like, live your life, and then when you're ready to have kids, have kids.
Yeah.
Like, if you're still pursuing something, don't have kids.
Yeah.
You're not gonna be able to pursue it if you have kids.
Right.
Yeah, so it's cool to hear that you have level-headed parents, because we don't have a lot of people in here that do.
I've been very fortunate, very
Yeah.
blessed.
Shout out great parents.
Yeah.
Yes.
Over there on Oliver's Privilege Corner.
Yeah, you got
Yeah.
fucking great parents.
I do,
They're
yeah.
Fucking awesome
It's a
parents.
good thing.
It's a great thing.
And that's been really inspiring because I wouldn't be able to do music without having supportive parents
Yeah.
and take risks and opportunities
Yeah,
to do
totally.
that and have that encouragement.
So then, what are they playing music wise around the house when you're growing up?
Oh man, I got a cool story I'll share with you. That's why I'm wearing this shirt.
Hell yeah, yeah, of course.
The
So,
Hotel California shirt. Yeah.
You mentioned the Clash.
Sure.
Lots of my dad was in the punk scene a lot too
Yeah,
before
sure.
he broke into the more mainstream kind of grunge at the time.
Sweet.
So he hung out with like the Minutemen and played show. He would do like roadie for like the Blasters and a
Dope.
bunch of more underground bands and
Yeah.
punk bands and whatnot. And,
Yeah.
Dude, Blasters
he would-
they're still touring right now. Like,
Wow.
tonight.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
The Blasters fucking play nonstop.
He would play like X. He would play
Nice.
the Doors. But the story with why I'm wearing this shirt as well is that when both my parents worked, so over summer, and oftentimes I'd spend time at my grandmother's house on his side.
Yeah.
And my uncle had this huge record collection, but he just left it there when he left the house.
Okay.
And
They
it had
just
ho-
wrapped up their 2023 tour.
Yeah,
Oh,
Blasters
wow.
are insane.
That's crazy.
They're insane. They don't stop. It's the best.
There's no more shows
Isn't
this
that
year.
great?
Yeah, there's
Sorry.
a picture in our in my parents' hallway where my dad's in off the side of the stage because he was roading with the Blasters. It's pretty
Nice.
cool.
Dude,
Great.
that's awesome.
Yeah,
Especially a candid shot.
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, being at my grandmother's house
With all those records.
with all
yeah.
those records, we
Yeah.
had one of the ones, and I just remember what really captivated me was that was like one of the first things to like blow my mind, and it's hard to explain, but it was this crazy experience to hear these amazing albums, to put the needle on the vinyl And this is way younger, before I started playing bass. This was when I had to be like, I don't know, 8 or 9 years old. And I didn't know who the Beatles were. I didn't know a lot of things. I just saw cool album artwork, and that's what I would play.
Dude, it's like the
Yeah,
best,
cool
one of the-
picture.
One
Yeah.
of the best
Yeah, yeah,
things
yeah.
about fucking old vinyl. Dude.
Yeah,
Everything's
and I
badass.
just had and my grandmother had this old hi-fi setup,
Sweet.
with a turntable and 2 of those giant box seat
Fuck
speakers
yeah,
dude.
that don't produce
way
a lot of
God
bass,
intended,
but
yeah.
they're huge. Yeah, it's really cool. And I would just sit. Again, I'm an only child, so and growing up, there weren't a lot of kids on my block, just for some reason where I lived. So even down where my grandmother lived, my grandma just lived down the street, but still.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah.
You're like, so Grandma, how about those Dodgers?
Did you see the recent G.I. Joe episode? No?
Exactly.
Well,
I mean, like any kid, I was into cartoons, but definitely playing the vinyl and just having that discovery of hearing music for the first time. I remember hearing playing Abbey Road for the first time. That's another album I remember. Hotel California and Abbey Road.
Nice.
And just asking myself, like, well, what is this?
What is
This
happening to my
insane.
body?
I'll share with you something funny. One of the things, the way my uncles thought my parents were crazy, but one of the things they believed in, especially my dad, was zero censorship for music, with exception of super explicit hardcore rap or any sort of metal or anything with like that any 9-year-old shouldn't really
like
listen to.
ICP, Fuck the World. Not allowed to listen to it.
Something like
Yeah.
like
'Cause there's
super
also nothing
explicit.
needed.
Yeah.
But pretty much I could listen to any record, and one of the things that my grandmother would do, and my parents too, every Christmas I'd ask for a CD or an album of something.
That's amazing.
That was like my thing. So so I actually would get notes sent home because one of my two favorite albums were one of them was Dizzy Up the Girl by Goo Goo Dolls. That came out when I was in
Great
preschool.
record. It's a great record.
Yeah, I love that record. I still listen to it now. It gets me really inspired.
Great
and-
record.
Dude, it's so good.
Solid.
But I was in preschool at the time, and I would bring Everclear to preschool. I'd bring Chumbawamba to preschool.
Nice.
I would bring
That's
yeah,
amazing.
that Chumbawamba record's good too, but
yeah.
weird.
Tub Thumping was my.
Weird,
I would
right?
sing that all the time, and that's all I knew was the I Get Knocked Down part. And that was it.
Yeah.
And pissing the night away.
Yeah.
The preschool teacher was like, "You can't sing that."
Yeah.
And they'd write notes to my parents like, "Please bring more age-appropriate music to show," because that's what I bring to show and tell.
Great.
Yeah,
And-
plus pissing.
And
Europe.
Sex and Candy,
Seems
Marcy
dreamy,
Playground.
Sex and Candy.
So I'm in preschool bringing
Yeah,
in
bringing
Sex
Sex
and
and
Candy.
That
Candy.
that one's a little more.
And
I smell sex.
Yeah.
I didn't know what any of that was. I
Preschool,
just
like
thought it was
Disco
a-
Lemonade.
Yeah. Darling Nikki. Yeah.
Wait, is that Marcy's Playground?
Uh-huh.
Is that the same? Oh, okay. 'Cause I had the original. Now that's what I call music CD.
Perfect.
Mm.
So it had
First
one.
everything.
Yeah, yeah.
It's almost the
from
best one.
The Cherry
Way to do
Poppin'
it.
Daddies. It had
Oh, that's
bunch of-
Zoot Suit
Zoot
Riot.
Suit Riot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically any of the late '90s big sons. That's
Excellent.
what that CD had. So I'd bring that in for show and tell, and a lot of kids would be bringing in like Barney soundtracks and stuff, and I'd be bringing in Everclear and
Yeah.
Chumbawamba and just like getting
I'm
notes
still
at home.
living with your
Yeah.
ghost. You're like, isn't this good?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So a lot of late '90s influence. So from a very, very young age, and those are some of my earliest memories.
Nice.
Music's kind of been ingrained in me, and that's been a real positive because it was kind of, like I said, some family members were kind of like skeptical, like I don't know.
Yeah.
He
Your
should be
son
hearing this. Yeah.
in preschool, like
Yeah.
So this will be an interesting answer then, because if you're getting albums for Christmas all the time, what's the first album you bought with your own money for yourself, by yourself, that you bought?
oh man,
Makes it extra heavy, right?
It's harder, yeah.
yeah. Let me see.
He never has.
I mean, it's
No,
kind of the
I'll
same
be
thing.
honest. I was given a lot of albums, so
Yeah.
Well, that's
and
what
I
I'm
had
saying.
access
It's
to
kind of the
others.
same thing asking for it and getting it from your, like, because
we're
Yeah.
at
talking
that age,
like
it's
you got money and
Yeah.
you bought it.
yeah. That's the
Well, the one I remember is Dizzy Up the Girl. I mean,
Okay.
that was huge.
okay.
That one, and I remember one of the things I got obsessed with was watching MTV and VH1
of course.
and music videos. And I
Yeah.
remember seeing the first Dizzy Up the Girl. Maybe the one that I would say would be either Gorillaz Demon Days.
Yes.
That was one of them. And then
Nice.
American Idiot. That was another one.
Nice. Okay.
Really good one.
My first big concert, I was in the 4th grade. I went to go see the Green Day on the American Idiot tour
Yes.
at the Home
best
Depot
fucking
Center.
tour ever.
That was amazing.
Oh man.
You're in 4th grade.
Yeah, he's like grabbing his crotch, and like women are like flashing, and I'm
Yeah.
just
That's it, dude.
I'm there
It's
with
over.
my parents.
It's
Yeah.
over for you.
Yeah.
4th grade. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
nothing cooler.
Also,
That's the best.
like you didn't care about boobs. You were there to see Green
I was
Day.
there to see Green Day. Exactly. Yeah.
Ew, girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was still in the "you girls"
This
phase.
does nothing for me.
Don't want to be an American.
Yeah. That
yeah, dude.
and
Where
this
was-
isn't. Huh?
Where was that show?
It was at the Home Depot Center. It's now
That's StubHub.
StubHub Center. It's by Dominguez Hills.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Went to plenty.
Huge.
that was
great
huge. That
place.
was a huge concert, and
Huge.
it's funny. I think looking back, it's like I don't know if you should take your 4th grader there.
Yeah. Whatever.
You have
But
to
it was
take your
it was
4th
awesome.
grader there,
Whatever.
You know what? Because I don't know, for some odd reason, that particular venue or stadium was all ages. Because I went with my cousin as well, who's a year older than me, so he was in the 5th grade, and his mom. So it's like the parents and then
Yeah.
me and my cousin.
Yeah,
yeah.
the one you could get into. Yeah.
And that's I thought that's what I was like, oh, I can actually see a band finally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, finally.
Yeah, yeah.
4th grade. Yes, I've been waiting.
I got to the show. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you like in seats or were you on like the floor? Or?
Yeah, we were on the floor.
Hell yes.
So like, people were
Hell
moshing,
yes.
and it was
That's
kind of
amazing.
nuts.
That's great.
Dope.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the best live show you've seen?
Oof. That's hard to top.
It may have been the Kings Leon at the Hollywood Bowl because that was my first
Okay.
time at the Hollywood Bowl.
Damn.
Nice.
Damn.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
and that was the height of their
Their
when
power.
when they
Yeah.
released Only by the Night. I was a big fan of that album.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And
The height of that power.
yeah, that was crazy because that was back when the Jonas Brothers were big. So like they attended the concert.
Oh.
It reminded me of this moment where, because it was actually in the news the next day, the who's who of Hollywood was
Yeah.
there to see Kings of Leon at the Hollywood Bowl. It was such a magical night. Like the energy there was
Yeah.
insane. I was I think I was a freshman in high school
Nice.
at that time.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Were there
Big-
other bands, or was I'm sure there were.
There
openers and
were
stuff.
there were bands that opened. I don't remember their names.
Okay.
but they were It was what was really cool is Kings of Leon. The bands that they brought on were friends of theirs
Yeah.
that they had been touring with for years.
Nice.
That and it just so happened that in their community, the Kings of Leon broke,
Were
but
the
the other
local band.
bands weren't as big, but they still brought them on to open.
Yeah,
which
that's
is
the way it should be.
which
Yeah.
is really cool. So that they brought their friends with them,
Yeah.
and the fact that Kings of Leon took a moment, or the singer took a moment to explain that
Yeah.
when they were thanking the previous openers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
And the significance of why they were there and how those bands inspired them.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That helps. It's a big help.
Yeah.
So I know Kings Leon sometimes
Yeah.
gets some flack nowadays for
They got so overplayed. It's what happens
Yeah.
when you succeed.
Yeah. Yeah. When you win. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
And,
my least favorite songs are just the ones that were played to death.
Yeah.
Like there's
Yeah.
like 3 of them I just don't care, but the rest of the album's still solid.
Is that four brothers? What the hell?
Three brothers and a cousin.
Jesus Christ.
There you go.
Yeah,
Hey,
it's
we're
the,
3 brothers and a cousin. What's up with
The singer, the bass player, the
God
drummer.
Damn it.
They're brothers, and then their guitar player is a cousin.
Greta Van Fleet
I was
is
gonna
three
say
brothers
that's
and a
that's
cousin.
literally Greta Van Fleet too. Yeah.
Insane. Yeah.
It's just called Two Brothers. Man.
Yeah. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gnarly. Yeah, I mean, I'd sign that, right? I'd sign both of those acts. Sure.
Yeah.
3 brothers
Well,
and a cousin, and you guys all
the
sound like
crazy
that.
thing-
Yeah.
Great.
Their story was that they were selling out stadiums in Europe. Like, they were huge.
Kings of Leon?
Kings
Yeah,
of
yeah.
Leon.
The record prior
Previous.
to...
Yeah,
It was
yeah. No,
huge
they
for
were
them.
already big.
Yeah, I mean,
Before they
I
were
knew
big.
them from albums before that.
Me bow. That song.
Yeah, or On Call. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
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 Luke asked us to ask people, what's the most, who have you spent the most money to go see?
Oh yeah, that's a good question.
Ooh.
So I had one question was who have you seen the most amount of times? But then his question was what's the most you paid for a ticket?
Wow.
Yeah. I think mine's 250 Rolling Stones. That's what
Oh,
mine's.
wow.
That's a good
That's
answer.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine's Coachella. It's boring. Yeah.
I mean, still crazy.
It's 350
Yeah.
bucks.
Just under 200 for AC/DC
Yeah.
Dodger Stadium.
Yeah.
Just to help you out.
Yeah. It's funny. I actually don't go to a lot of big concerts. Mostly it's smaller acts.
Sure.
The last big one I went to, I was really lucky. It was a Smashing Pumpkins concert at the Forum.
That's
Hell yeah.
awesome.
But my buddy had won tickets.
There you go.
And as a good friend, as a thank you, because I also play bass in his band, and I'm actually producing their EP right now.
There you
Dope.
go.
But we've been friends for a long time, and
That's worth a
he
ticket.
Well, he had bought tickets for the night before, and then he won tickets for the following night. So he's like, "Hey, you want to come?" And I was, "Yeah."
So, see the Smashing
Those
Pumpkins?
had to been pretty expensive.
I've never seen
Forum.
them live, but I've
They're
always
so
loved
fucking
them.
good. Yeah.
Well, what was cool about that particular tour? This was 2018, I think.
Okay.
What was special about that particular show is that they did everything without tracks. They had
Nice.
about 6 or 7 people on stage,
Okay.
and all of their
Sweet. So
and-
tonight has like live players.
Actual
and shit.
strings and shit.
Actually,
yeah.
that's the only thing I was hoping to get like a C string section, but unfortunately, no. However, there was keys.
Okay.
Still fine.
Key strings. Yeah.
You know what's actually cool? They actually didn't have strings at all. They actually had a pianist, or I think it was an organist playing. It may have had a piano on the bottom and then an organ on top.
Yeah.
But they had someone playing the parts, just not fake strings. So
Sweet.
this was like their nothing fake tour.
Nice.
And that's what
Okay.
they were promoting.
So
and
they're
it
playing
was
the parts, just
all
not
their
as
hits.
string patches.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it was
cool.
nothing but live players.
That's cool.
Great.
That's awesome.
And it was like a 3-hour concert. It was
Oh.
crazy.
That's amazing.
And they covered Stairway to Heaven.
Yes.
And
you got an organ.
once
you know?
we saw Billy Corgan start the song, everyone went out to take their bathroom break and smoke. It was a mass exodus. It was hilarious.
Poor Billy.
Because my buddy was like, "Hey, I'm gonna have a smoke. You want to come with?" I was like,
Oh my god.
That's
right.
amazing.
yeah, it was.
That's
no,
hilarious.
no stairway, Billy. No
Yeah, yeah.
And
stairway.
they
There's
did
a
the
sign.
full version, by the way.
D9.
Yeah, he did the whole thing.
Of course. Yeah, you got it.
After our bathroom break, we came back in. and I think they were still soloing or something.
Yeah, you can come in when the drums come back. You know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Knowing Billy Corgan, that's probably on purpose so people can go
Yeah.
pee.
It's a 3-hour show.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta have some
And
downtime.
my
Yeah.
friend was cracking up because he was like, "It's so Billy Corgan."
Yeah.
He would just cover the entire Stairway song.
Yeah.
He absolutely would.
With 7 musicians on stage.
Yeah.
Why not? Let him do it. But yeah, he, like you said, he planned it. He knows that they don't care. You know.
Oh, fantastic.
Just for him.
Okay, so your like first recordings, first band that you joined, right? Because you're teaching people how to play bass at 13. So then,
I mean, I wasn't a great bassist. I
Right.
wasn't like, I'm so good, I'm going to teach you guys.
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
thought,
You're
hey,
just
wouldn't it be
excited
fun
to
if
do-
like,
about it.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was excitement. I was really excited about the instrument and learning. And I didn't think I would be able to ever really play an instrument. So I'll share with you why I'm left-handed. So when I was born, I have slight kind of like paralyzation in my left hand, where I have less dexterity. So my hands are a little smaller on the left side versus the right side.
okay.
Interesting.
So
Okay.
that's why I play lefty. So, anyways, I can open and close my hand. I went to occupational therapy which is just physical therapy for your hands.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
people. And I'm able to open and close my hand and then touch my index and thumb together so I can hold a pick. That's why I play with a pick.
Yeah.
I love to play with fingers, but I play with a pick.
Can you make a fist?
I can make a fist, yeah.
Yeah.
Do L, thumbs up, and then hold a pick.
Yeah.
And then open and close. And that's
Well.
that's fine. I'm not
that's
I'm
all you
not
need.
mad at that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
So that's why he restrung it left-handed. So so for me it was in a way what is it called? There's a term for something difficult. There's a term for something that is difficult in your life, but it makes you either a better person or stronger at something.
It's overcoming adversity.
Yeah, it's a desirable difficulty.
Okay.
That's what the
wow.
word is.
There you go.
Desirable difficulty.
So
Very
it's
nice. Yeah.
something you're struggling with, but it doesn't set you back. It actually pushes you forward.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I remember seeing this. I think it was Malcolm Gladwell talked about that a lot, and he interviewed a bunch of CEOs where the majority of the CEOs of these major companies were dyslexic, or had some sort of adversity growing up, or some sort of learning disability, or something that actually propelled them to work harder towards their goals.
Right.
And they succeeded in spite of their challenges.
Right.
Sure.
Like a speech impediment made them to go to
Learn to
speech
talk.
therapy,
Yeah.
which now they're
Bill Withers,
Yeah.
suffers from stuttering. I love that artist. So he's a huge inspiration.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
But there's lots of stories like that.
Yeah.
I'm
Our freaking
sure-
president can't talk.
Well,
Or
he did
can now.
He did the opposite.
Yeah. Well, he did the bell curve. Yeah.
It's a steep bell. curve.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense about Bill Weathers, and I know.
Hey, Bill's still checking his watch.
No, no.
Bill, the whole
no,
band went
no, no,
Yeah,
no, no.
You know, when I was in
gotta
college,
smack 'em upside
my
Hey, I
buddy,
wanna sing low.
there was an exam my buddy had to do because I have a best friend I've known since high school, and he's a guitar player. Him and I split, like he played guitar, I played bass. We did a band in high school together, and then he decided to go into engineering, which is totally cool. And then I decided to stay on music, and now he owns a home, and I still live at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure owning a home isn't always lived up to be.
But I'm not mad at that. I'm super happy.
Things
for
are
him.
nice. Yeah, it's nice to have things.
And but anyways, one of the questions on his exam, on his engineering exam, was how many times does Bill Withers say "I know" and "Ain't no sunshine"? Which it was an extra credit question.
I've counted 21.
Yes, it's 21.
Yeah.
It's
I
21.
want to say it's 21. Yeah, when he told me.
I didn't know.
Yeah,
I didn't.
I had
A lot.
I wouldn't
yeah.
be able to answer. I didn't know. He told me. I was like, really? That's
Yeah.
for your
Yeah.
engineering exam?
When doing
It's
it,
just like a fun professor.
Yeah,
checking
yeah,
it
Dude,
out.
exactly.
that is
Yeah.
a cool
Yeah,
professor
yeah.
question. For extra credit, too.
I had a history teacher who would just like give you a nonsense question for extra credit. He'd tell you the answer like a couple weeks in advance, and you just
Yeah.
yeah. It was like what band sings because we were learning about the Middle East, and it was like what band sings the Constantinople song. So like
They Might Be Giants.
yeah, They Might Be Giants. So yeah, if you can name They Might Be Giants, extra credit.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Sick. I love that song, though.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like first band you joined then.
Raising Hope.
First band I joined was when I did that summer camp or summer
Sure.
school thing.
Yeah, yeah.
What was the band name?
Yeah, do you
And
remember
it was
the
called
name?
the Bulging Discs.
Why?
Because
Hey, with a bulging disc.
That's
my
a very
dad
good name.
my dad had a bulging disc at the time and had to have surgery. I mean, he recovered from it.
Yeah.
But as just like as a funny
Great name.
thing.
Great name.
I mean,
Punk rock name, I guess.
Pretty-
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
it's a very good name.
yeah, it's a great
Yeah,
name,
bulging
dude.
discs. Yeah.
Was that how many bands have you like
Oh, several
several?
in and out of, and I mean now I'm just producing and then doing
Right.
more just gun for hire work on bass.
Yeah.
But yeah, throughout high school, I started. So my high school didn't have a music program. I went to a Catholic high school, and Mary Star.
Shout outs.
Shout outs.
I did. What do they call it? Catechism for fucking 8 years.
8 years.
Yeah,
Oh.
I'm good. I can only imagine your whole time in Catholic school.
Yeah.
K-12.
Yeah, dude, that's gnarly.
But what was really cool experience.
Yeah,
and
you're
I'll
bringing
share with you.
Everclear to them.
Right?
Dude, what the
What was a really cool experience? Two things. Actually, that's how I learned how to run live sound. So I actually got my first
okay.
job at 16 working for my high school
Dude.
because I would do live sound for the assemblies.
Rad.
And I got to get out of class early. Anytime any teacher, I got to get out of exams. Like anytime. That's the thing about a private school is you can do those things.
Yeah.
And it's not as big of a deal. And I would just go to the head priest and who ran the school, because he had the principal, but then he also had the priest, the Norbertines that ran the school, and he would just write a note. He'd say, "Hey, give this to your teacher," and
Nice.
then I'd be like, "All right, sweet," and I'm getting paid. This is awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
it's
He's
amazing.
like the real body of Christ.
So yeah, I would set up the assemblies. We would have guest speakers all the time.
Sure.
So I'd set up the PA and run the board.
Getting out of class. I
and
mean, come on.
Get out of
Dude,
class.
did you
get
get paid
exams.
for it?
I did get paid.
Fuck yeah.
What was it? I think it was
Church got a lot of money.
10.25 an hour
Okay, just allegedly.
as a.
We don't, we don't.
Oh yeah, child labor doesn't exist.
Well,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, I had to sign a work permit. It was all legit. Like
Okay.
my parents had to sign it, and I had to keep a time card and all that.
All right.
So the church puts children to work. Can't have that.
Absolutely. Dude.
So
That's
so,
dope though, and then you get to learn like the boards and like how to, a whole bunch of
I
different
got to
things.
learn how to mic stuff.
Sure.
And the other thing is like, the priests are kind of hardcore. So if I screwed up, made something feedback, I get yelled at in front of the whole class, like the whole school. I get then you get a dirty look or something if
Yeah.
something wasn't right. Yeah.
Everyone's
So
just waiting, like,
yeah.
What's he gonna do?
They just look at me, but yeah, that was one of the things I did. That was one of my jobs, and then
So cool.
and then at the same time, so because of that, long story short, there wasn't a music program there.
Right.
So I just started an after school club because you could start clubs there, and I just would find random musicians that and oddly enough, I don't know why, but it wasn't. I mean, I don't care, but it wasn't seen as cool. It was actually like
Because you're a
turn
club
off.
kid, yeah.
Yeah, I was
yeah.
seen like a club kid.
Yeah.
But we were playing like Tool. We were playing like
Good shit.
really cool song. We were,
Yeah.
we were into like a lot of different.
So
like,
nerdy to be in a rock band.
yeah, that's what they looked.
Well, it's school sanctioned, so
Yeah.
Right.
And what kind of-
The cool crowd would look at me funny.
You
and, like,
used the system.
and I'm like,
Yeah.
but we're playing like all these cool rock
They don't-
songs.
not-
And we did like Blink-182, and we were like doing all these things.
Dude,
Yeah.
none of your classmates even probably heard that music.
that's true.
Yeah.
They probably come from crazy tight knit
Christian
Catholic households that are like, that's all devil music. Like you either listen to AM radio
Yeah.
or this here, Christ Came Home for Christmas. Like,
Some yes, and then others. Well, like I said, like the cool kids, they were the ones that would drink and smoke weed and like
fuck
Yeah.
yeah,
and
dude.
play rock and roll music. But I'm like allegedly,
Yeah.
right? And I'm like, well, just come jam with us. Like we got
Yeah.
amps and stuff.
Yeah.
And, like let's. And then I would set up. Shows for school lunches and assemblies.
Nice.
And then eventually the high school had like a band, and we just like do covers and play like Weezer songs.
How many
and,
people?
At one point, it was probably like 10 or 15 of us. So we just rotate.
Just like a rotating thing?
Yeah,
Sweet.
But I was like,
That's awesome.
but it was kind of there was like a core group of friends where there was like a house band.
Yeah.
And then singers and other guest people would cycle in and out. We just played tons of different songs.
Did it have a name?
No, it was just called Jam Club.
Jam Club?
And we had a sweatshirt too.
All right.
Yeah. We had
Club.
we were able to
Not bad.
commission a sweatshirt, and we got people to buy it, and we just have Jam Club.
I mean, that's still a pretty decent name.
Yeah, it's not
It's
a
not
bad
as good
name.
as Bulging Discs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
Well,
you
and
know,
that's why we
Jam Club.
named it Jam Club because we thought Music Club would be too nerdy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Music
Or,
clubs are
anything with
yeah.
music in it. So we're like, well,
Yeah.
jam. We just come here to jam, make
Yeah,
music,
Jamming.
and
Just
Just
jamming.
jamming. Just jam.
Well,
Just jam.
Jam Club is a great movie about orgies. I don't know if anyone has seen it.
I thought it was a
funny.
Smuckers documentary.
Smugglers,
Yeah.
the Jam Club.
that's funny.
Jelly of the month.
Yeah.
That's the gift that keeps on giving.
This week's Boysenberry.
Okay, writing songs. Like, you start composing, like, what age, you think?
It was all kind of around the same time. I was
Yeah.
really interested in.
Did Jam Club ever do any originals?
Was there a Jam Volume 1?
You know what? They didn't do. We didn't play originals live, but we would do like more house parties and stuff.
Okay.
Where we on the outside we would write our own songs and have fun and jam in the garage and.
So how old are you on the first, like, house party, like a show outside of school?
That was all high school.
Okay.
That was another funny story I'll share with you. A lot of times I'd be jamming with a lot of people older than me. Sometimes guys like that were out of high school, so they'd be like smoking weed and drinking and
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
and then I'd be there like 16. Everyone else was like 19, 20,
Sure.
playing bass.
Yeah.
Because I was just like super into just the music.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was almost like because I was exposed to all of that, I didn't really have a big inclination to like party and like drink because I saw like
Yeah, it's
other
about the
people.
music, man.
I'm not putting that down.
Sure,
Oh, yeah.
sure.
But like I didn't
Yeah,
feel
drugs
like
are awesome.
I
but
didn't
yeah.
feel like I really didn't feel like I was
Amen,
missing
brother.
out. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
but yeah, I was 16. My dad would just drop me off at like some people's houses, and we just jam, and they'd all be like, especially when I would play like in reggae bands, and they'd all be smoking weed, and I come home reeking like pot. Yeah. There was one time where, because I used to play at my church too, where I went to a reggae jam session the night before, because church was on Sunday, I went Saturday
Yeah.
night, and then they smoked so much pot that my whole bass case reeked, and it like seeped into my bass. So
Nice.
the moment the moment I got to church to
played
open my
better.
bass case, it just like a wall of smell hit me.
like Father
So-
John Misty, I swear it was a skunk.
So I text my dad, and
was a
then
skunk.
because when I play at church, we get there early to set up and rehearse
Yeah.
and whatnot. So when my parents got to church, my dad gave me some dryer sheets. He's like, "Here."
He's an old pro.
He thought it was the funniest thing. He's like, "Put these dryer sheets in your bass case, you'll be fine."
He's like, why'd you take those out?
Yeah.
I had a box in there.
So yeah, he's like, "Don't worry about it. Like, just play your song. It's all good."
It's amazing.
I mean, and technically God made weed, so
Yeah.
should be
It's
all
all
right.
natural.
Should
It's
be all
all
right, dude.
natural.
More natural than the bourbon here.
Delicious.
Shots fired. Shots fired at whiskey.
But
whiskey.
not more natural than the heroin we're about to do.
Oh yeah, that's all natural.
Yeah. So when did you start recording other people?
That wasn't until after I graduated high school, a couple of years after, I just graduated college. I got my AA in music. I went to a
Gotcha.
local JC and studied music there. And, I was playing with a lot of different artists, doing gun for hire work and just playing in bands. And then one of the bands landed at this studio to record an EP with this producer who was like my first recording mentor. And I started.
What was his name?
Drew Kapner.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like known for doing a lot of pop vocal production. Like he's worked with like Miley Cyrus, Jason Derulo, and a bunch of like the pop sphere and hip hop.
It's pronounced Jason Derulo.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. But that's awesome. Like someone who already has like some chops about it.
Yeah, so I was just playing bass and then I just tried to be the last person to leave when the producer left, and then I was able to get his email and just started like emailing him, and eventually he had me come by and hang out, and I wanted to intern, and then I started learning more about the recording process, and I did that for almost a year.
Nice.
Cool.
And that was really good. And the cool thing is that's where there was a couple artists that he kind of didn't have time for, or they couldn't afford his budget kind of thing, so he sent them to me.
Oh, nice.
And then and I didn't have a studio, so I just go to their house and record them. And I still have it. I have an iMac case because I had an iMac.
Yeah.
And I just put it in an iMac case. No, they actually make them. And I towed around this 27-inch iMac in a case
Yeah.
with one microphone and a tiny Focusrite interface.
That's
and
it?
I'd record people and say, all right.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Excellent.
That's all you need.
That is all
so
you
it got
need.
me the first taste. So I learned a lot from doing that. I learned about not just recording, how to deal with clients, the business
Of
side, how to make the session run smooth.
Of course, trial by fire, baby.
I've had a lot of those situations trial by fire.
Yeah.
And it's been really positive though.
Yeah, man.
Especially making
Yeah.
house calls. You don't even know what you're walking into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just walk into a concrete jail cell.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, this is
And
going to
I'm
be interesting
like
with your drums.
22. Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, there's cats everywhere. Where do I where do I put my computer?
Yeah, that was and learning, and then that by interning, it really inspired me to get into producing more and playing a more collaborative role. Because oftentimes before that, I started interning, I was kind of just the bassist. Even though I wrote my own songs, if I was in bands, I'd write with the band and just play shows. That was funny. My first time playing a Hollywood show was I was 16 and sophomore year in high school. I actually told the head priest, like, hey, I have a show at the Whiskey tonight. and he's like, dude, that's awesome. Yeah, get out of here.
Yeah.
And he was like telling him, like, the principal, yeah, Mario's good. He's got a show tonight. He's a big rock star. I was like, what? So that was kind of the so I had to really as much as like everyone would say like high school sucks. There was a lot of things I didn't care for high school. I'm not big into school or rah in that sense. But I had really good mentors and people along the way that were very encouraging to do music.
That's good.
Yeah, including, like I said, the priest is saying, yeah, go play the Whiskey, dude.
Yeah,
Like, what are you doing here? Go make music.
You're like, high school does suck, but I had a great time.
I mean, it is what you make it, right?
Yeah, huh?
I could have had a way worse time. I did as much fun shit as I could.
I had a great time.
I fucking loved high school.
Yeah.
Barely graduated.
Exactly. I had a great time instead. Yeah, okay. So, things that you recorded yourself up until you started recording other people, right? Like, how many projects did you have, like, under your belt through GarageBand or what have you with your own setup before you start?
Yeah, what were you using back
Taking
then,
up-
too?
Okay, yes.
Just
so,
your little focus.
Was
right?
it just the
when
focus?
I graduated as a high school graduation gift, I got my first iMac.
Sick.
Okay.
That was huge. I had that for years.
Nice.
And I had GarageBand on there, and I just would just write a bunch of songs, random songs, singing on acoustic guitar, and just kind of recording myself with a little M audio interface.
and audio.
We got one later on somewhere. What
Fast track USB?
Yes.
Dude,
Yeah,
fuck
dude.
yeah.
The latency was.
it's
It's one
probably
of the
terrible.
best. It's one of the
I think
best.
we
for
all
starting.
had one of those at one
Yeah,
point.
what-
Is it the one XLR 1/4 inch? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we bought like 2 or 3 of those just because they're so easy to demo.
Yeah.
What microphone are you using? Were you just 58, 57 or something?
You know,
MXL.
it was
Yeah.
it was actually one of those USB mics. It was a Samson USB
Samson!
mic. Yeah.
I want to talk to Samson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good old.
So it's like and then
still
I would
have
just
one later
DI
on
my
some.
bass and then
yeah,
it was
DA
funny.
into that, yeah.
And I would sometimes I'd sing with my voice, or this is embarrassing, but it's funny.
Love it.
There's times where I would hear in the song needed female vocals, and apparently GarageBand has a female vocal voice changer. So I would sing the song as a woman, and then harmonize with me as a man.
That's amazing.
Sometimes I duet myself.
That's great.
I mean,
dude.
did it get the sound across for you? Yeah. Then you
That-
did it,
then
man.
that's it.
It was
man.
pretty convincing, especially for a high
Yeah.
school kid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Our last
excellent.
guest literally was like, he did like a hymn and he did all the vocals himself, and there was a bunch that were women.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
It's just like,
Yeah.
If that's what the song calls for.
yeah, get the layers in you need, dude.
Man.
Are you going to find a chick to do this? Nope.
Yeah. Yeah. You mean I have
Yeah.
to talk to a girl? Yeah.
Right?
She's not in my jam club, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So now I got to know, like, how many, as you sit here, how many productions do you have under your belt now? Just a roundabout estimation.
Yeah. Doesn't be exact.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe on the low end 50.
Okay.
Like with different projects and artists and
Yeah,
songs
yeah.
and recordings. Some of my own, some if it's stuff I've just played on, like just in general, it's got to be over 100 just of stuff that I've played on or artists I've worked with. whether
Right,
it's just
right.
bass or songwriting, recording.
But, like,
producing.
your credit as a producer, you're talking
Credit as a
about 50,
producer. Well, that's a lot. Strictly as a producer or co-producer, I don't know. It's probably like more like in like the 25,
Got
30
it, got it.
range.
Okay.
It's not. It's
Yeah.
not.
No,
50.
I understand the tiers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it just depends on what stage of the process I'm brought into and
Totally.
whatnot. Yeah.
Okay, now dealing with different artists all the time. It's got to depend on the artist, I'm sure, but in general speaking, do you love, pre-production or
Love it. I just did pre-production the past 2 days. I spent over 12 hours with an artist.
is that more exciting than production end? Than miking things up and getting the good sound and the takes?
No, it's pretty balanced, pretty equal. I really stress pre-production to artists.
Yes.
So 'cause
Pre-production's huge.
It's huge. It's
Yeah.
just getting the sound. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
If you
Write a
want-
good song,
if you want
motherfucker.
to get it good going in, you better
have
have
to
it
have something
practiced,
good to
and
go in.
Yeah, it better be good going in.
Yeah.
One funny thing today. So I was looking at the calendar and I was like, "Fuck, we got podcast today." And I was like, "Who's on it?" And I was like, "Oh yeah." And then I forgot to put studio in, and I just put VinegarHill, and then I was listening to like this Austrian death metal band
Okay.
for like an hour. And
That's
then
awesome.
I literally like looked down. I'm like, "What? Oh yeah." I was like, "What studio is he at?"
Yeah. So you're just listening to
Yeah.
completely random.
Dude.
So
Yeah.
that's actually named after my hometown, San Pedro, which is not too far from here.
Okay.
Okay.
So you
Shout
know
out
that
Pedro.
venue, the Sardine? I just played
We
there.
haven't
Yeah.
been there
I've
yet.
heard
Do you
of
like
it.
it?
Yeah.
I haven't.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's the old Ramona Bakery. So my grandmother and my mother both worked there when it was a bakery. It was a really famous bakery in the area.
That's awesome.
And then, and then I guess poor business management practices. Something
Yeah,
happened. It
life.
ran out of business. And what was it? Just before COVID, I think it was bought out and turned into a music venue. So it's like Pedro's now main music venue.
Shit, we gotta go.
Yeah, what else does Pedro have on music? Like,
Well, they have the Warner Grand.
oh,
Which is funny. There's
don't
my
know.
dad has this joke where like the Warner Grand's cursed or haunted because there's so many major acts that have played there that then broke up afterwards, including a band my dad was in
There you
as
go.
well. Like the
Called The
Ramones,
Clash.
the last show the Ramones played was there, from what I was
really?
told. Chris Cornell played there as well.
Whoa.
I don't know if it was his last show, but
Yeah.
but yeah, there's that old saying. I've never played the Warner Grand. I've always wanted to.
okay.
But-
Yeah, it's a big ass room.
Yeah,
But- Sardine holds how many?
Oh.
Is it a 300?
No, it's small.
150?
It has to be like 150.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we haven't been yet, but
Yeah,
everyone
well,
keeps
it's-
running through there.
It's called
Yeah.
the sardine because you're packed in, I guess.
Nice.
I would guess. I don't know. I've
That
never been
and probably like a tribute
think you're right, dude.
because
It's
San
totally-
Pedro is
Pedro.
a fishing town.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
the
sure.
Right there at
canneries.
the
Oh, of
port.
course, of course.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But anyways, it was cool. My parents went there for the first time because I played with Dancing Skeletons there a couple weeks ago.
There you
Shout
go.
out Dancing
Yeah,
Skeletons.
shout out
Yeah.
to them.
Listen to that episode.
Yeah, go listen to that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And Frequency Within as well.
That's right.
They played
Nice.
there.
Dude,
at
Dancing
right.
Skeletons
Sardine.
were fun. That was a good episode.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I watched it. That was
There you go.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you worked at Oddity as well, right?
I work with Oddity. Yeah, I'll be
Shout
working with
out
them
Oddity.
again. Shout out to
Yeah.
Oddity.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, they're right there.
Goddamn,
whatever.
dude.
Right.
Oh, right.
and then
Right.
What
This
the
is this is
see.
the
What the
nexus.
fuck?
Yeah.
Rachel AO. I haven't worked with her, but I actually introduced her to Jenna
There you go.
for management.
Yes.
There you go.
I know. I mean, shout out this whole crew of folks. They're
Yeah,
the
yeah.
best.
Everybody
One thing-
knows everybody.
Yeah, and that's one thing I've talked a lot to Jenna about, and I've stressed to a lot of artists. And one of the conversations we have is, I really feel, especially after COVID, there's been kind of a lack of community in a lot of aspects in the music sphere, in,
Yeah.
in the local scenes.
Yeah.
Or if there is any, it's really kind of closed off and cliquish,
Yeah.
and I don't subscribe to that
Fuck
at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
It's the worst, dude.
Yeah.
So one of the things that
COVID shook out a bunch of the people
Yeah.
who were trying to do really good things,
Mm-hmm.
and the ones who are just lodged in it will remain lodged in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, an interesting shakeup for sure.
Yeah, so that's one of the things that I'll I have conversations with Jenna about is I'm really big on kind of bringing that sort of community back, and anytime I'm working with an artist, I try to introduce them to Jenna either for management, or if Jenna's working with someone, she introduces them to me, and just so it's not closed off.
Yep.
And this way, and better shows happen because of it.
Oh, of course.
Because
Yeah.
people know each other, the bands are similar. You don't have a promoter that's absent, randomly putting bills together, and you guys know they don't know that. Yeah,
Oh, promoters.
and taking a really big cut.
Yeah.
Yeah, like selling 500 tickets or something. Yeah,
So, what else is weird is like some of the groups that like don't want to, I guess, don't want to like network because they're afraid they're going to take their fans or something. And it's like, dude, there's so many
Yeah.
people out there that love music. Like, there's people that we know that aren't in bands that are just our friends that are like, I love to go to shows. And I'm like, fuck yeah. I'm like, someone
Yeah.
would go to our show and your show if we played back-to-back nights on
Yeah.
different nights. And
Buddy.
what else kind of sucks about the community right now is it seems like a lot of the good venues that we were able to play in are now taken by the the next level of artists because
Yes.
so many bands were sitting doing nothing,
Yeah.
and now everyone wants to play, and then everyone's taking the spots.
Yeah.
So like we're like, all right, we're gonna play the Tiki Bar again.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
You know?
that's true.
Like, that's
Shout
like
out
what
Tiki Bar.
what's left for us? We're not playing it or the Doll Hut, but
Yeah, no, it's very true.
Yeah, it's like the opportunity isn't as grand or isn't as easy, I guess.
Was it Live Nation and Golden Voice buying
Dude,
up
oh
a
my
lot
God.
of those?
Yep.
Still are.
venues.
Yep.
Yeah, still
are.
They're
are.
just gonna buy them all.
Yeah.
Like at this point, they're just gonna buy them all.
Wait till the Doll Hut is a Live Nation venue.
Right?
Oh no!
Yeah, right?
Wait, we have to
my
sell
God.
tickets at the door, pre-sell and all that.
Jesus, yeah.
Imagine that.
I have. It's coming.
It's coming.
It's
It's
coming.
Yeah, it's totally coming.
Even Chain Reaction went down.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Wait, is it done?
No,
they're-
it's live.
Oh,
Nation.
it's
They're
Live
Live
Nation.
Nation.
Yeah, they've been
Yeah.
Live Nation for a while though, right? Like for like 10 years. Or
No.
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 Past 2 years, I think.
What
2 or
were they
3.
before though? They were owned by someone bigger.
Independent.
They were allages.com, baby.
Allages.com.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel like when they remodeled that place, they got bought by someone. I thought.
No, that was a revamping because they finally got a liquor license to bring in fucking more business. Yeah. Wow, Ziggy, dude.
Jesus.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow, Ziggy.
Was he outside?
He was.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
why.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, now you're a wet boy.
Now he's a wet boy.
Stinky wet boy.
So that's essentially one of the things I've always thought I feel like some of the greatest music to come out of, at least even I guess in Western music and rock music and mainstream.
Yeah.
There's been great examples, like for instance, like Laurel Canyon, where you have in the '60s, you have all these little pockets, or like grunge with Seattle, or Motown.
Totally.
Detroit.
Yeah.
There's all these great scenes come out of this big community collective of just artists coming together, sharing ideas. And I don't know where that next thing is, but it's like kind of like a dream to just see another hub emerge.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
be a part of that hub and help foster and grow it and
Yeah.
kind of
OC
people come
really
together.
does try. The SoCal.
Dude, we've been
OC is
trying.
better than LA.
We've been trying for goddamn 8 years, dude.
Yeah. It tries.
It's just always progress is slow. It's always slow.
Yeah, I mean, totally, right? We all want everything now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's been really promising, and I know with a lot of artists I've worked with, it's been really cool that they've been great, just sharing thoughts and ideas and sharing shows and just kind of introducing them.
Yeah.
And the way I kind of imagine, like, there's the producer Rick Rubin is a huge inspiration.
Love me some
And
Rick Rubin.
Who doesn't?
Yeah.
He does a
And
great
he's
job.
like
He's fucking
really,
sick.
Yeah,
he's really
he's fucking Rick
close.
Rubin.
He's
Yeah.
really close with the Chili Peppers. And there's so many iconic albums where you look at the liner notes, it's like, wait, Flea played on that, or John Frusciante played on that,
Yeah.
Chad Smith
Yeah.
played on that,
Yeah.
and
Dude,
and
Flea's played on so much, I didn't realize that either.
Mars Volta, baby.
Yeah.
Exist without the Chili Peppers. Yeah.
yeah,
The credits are insane
Yeah,
on his Wikipedia.
and I think that is such a cool thing, even though that's a whole nother league of its own. How come we can't have something like that on a smaller scale
Yeah.
where and that's one thing I try to do is if there's bands or artists I'm working with, I say, hey, if there's anyone that you hear on the playlist that I have of my portfolio that you like their guitar playing, you like their bass playing, their drumming or whatever, like, let me know and
Yeah,
I'll
we
reach
can
out
hook
to
it up.
them. Like, I want to keep that community going, and even if I'm done working on a project, I still try to keep in touch with the artists.
It's huge. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's one of my
you kinda
favorite
have
things that a lot of good comedians do is they always bring up
Bring
like
bring friends.
smaller comedians
Yeah.
because it's just like, hey, this person's fucking funny.
Yeah.
Like the only reason why they're not successful is because no one knows. So
Yeah.
I'm huge. I'm gonna fucking bring them. They're gonna open
Yeah.
for me.
exactly.
Like here's 5 minutes. Like,
Yeah.
All they're doing is basically the same thing you're doing is opening the space to network.
Without a
Yeah.
buy-on. But I've seen. I think that may have been. I think maybe. I don't know about with music how that's. Yeah, because
Right.
exactly you're saying with comedians,
Yeah.
how they can bring people up. I don't know about
Dude, there's
what's
no
going on
way.
with music right
when
now.
when a fucking
Where's
label
that?
owns you,
Yeah.
you're not gonna be allowed to do that.
Where's that?
No,
That's
no,
sort
you're
of,
not. You're not fucking
passing
choosing
the-
your openers.
I haven't
No.
seen a lot of torch passing.
Yeah.
No,
from-
not at
from
all.
artists.
And I haven't seen a lot of openers anymore. Bands are touring with like one opener.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they're playing a show, one opener.
Best example I can think of is that you were talking about Kings Leon brought their friends.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is fucking unheard of.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
Because
to the Hollywood Bowl of it of all
Incubus,
places.
Right.
Incubus just did Hollywood Bowl with Action Bronson and Paris Jackson.
Nice. Yeah.
Oh,
Cool.
Yeah.
But are
Yeah.
those buy-ons or is
No,
that
that's just
those
a
are
label.
label mates.
That's
That- yeah,
that's label
yeah,
mates. Yeah. Yeah.
it's that's the dichotomy, right?
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like you're either
Yeah.
going full on or
yeah.
Or just
Uh-huh.
bring your friends. Yeah.
label mates is not friends.
Yeah, yeah,
label
yeah.
mates is
Yeah.
a buy-on.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've heard of lots of different buy-ons and
That's.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
that's the way it's worked for fucking ever.
Yeah,
so,
wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
At least since 2000s.
Yeah, our aim is pitch at the booking agencies,
Yeah.
find out what the buy-ons are,
Yeah.
see what's worth it and what's not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we find a booking agent and then we make $32 a show instead of 30. I'm fine with it as long as they're better shows, dude.
Yeah,
give me
as long as
give me people that buy fucking t-shirts.
That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
get me
yeah.
fresh eyes.
Yeah, give me people that.
but I want to say I'm optimistic. I'm hopeful, and I
Yeah.
think
Oh, of course.
something's going to emerge, and I don't know if it's going to be. It's
What's-
not going to be label made. It's
Yeah.
going to be grassroots, organic, somewhere.
Yeah.
What's the point of like not being optimistic?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
why
yeah.
would you
I'm
still
just,
be doing
I'm
it?
just
Yeah.
doing this music because I'm trying, man.
Yeah.
I want to make it someday.
No, but things like that are huge. Like making sure that artists know that other artists are there for the creation of good shit. Like, isn't that what everyone's just trying to do? Make something that sounds cool,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Inspiring. And
Also, it's nice little like gratification when you have friends that are like, dude, you want to play shows with me? Like with me, you guys fucking kill it. And you're
Yeah.
like, fuck
Yeah.
dude. Like that's I want to have a community where people just all kill it and all love each other's music and play, not just because like, ooh, this guy he's got a placement on the '93 baseball Nintendo game.
Yeah.
Like, let's play with him.
Yeah.
Shout out Boomfest because there's always
Fuck
like
yeah.
6
Oh,
bands.
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Boomtown Brewery.
Yeah,
Did
sure.
That's a
uh,
good thing.
Did Skeletons do one of those where they do a Thursday session? Either way, Raise on TV is like the greatest.
Yeah, we
people
just played with them.
we know.
Yeah, we just saw him last week. Yeah.
Awesome.
We love them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. I
I love
know.
Travis Creeps too.
Oh, okay.
Unrelated.
Yeah, they are, but I wanted to,
Oh yeah, just you love Travis Creeps.
Well-
Yeah, me too.
if I don't say it, we get sued. So
Oh,
anytime I mention a band, I have to mention him.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Yeah, it'd be fun to play Boomfest. I'm not sure what the plans are. I know Jenna and Jorge. They know more about for the booking.
yeah, like how many? What's your roster of live gigs these days?
Right now, it's been primarily them, the Dancing Skeletons.
Okay.
I've just been playing bass for them, and I've been loving it. It's been great working with those guys. Been doing a lot of recordings. We just finished some new stuff already.
Great.
Yeah.
Dude,
And but before that, actually, it was before COVID. Go back to
BC, dude.
history.
BC.
Yeah.
BC, yeah, BC.
The real BC.
Before COVID, I was playing with as many acts as I could, just trying to play lots of shows around LA and just
Does
meet a lot of people.
Yeah, hired
and
gun stuff.
hired gun stuff,
Yeah.
playing whether it's whiskey or Viper Room.
Is there like a
so
genre you
much.
like to stick to, or are you just doing everything? Like when you're,
Um,
because I mean,
I lean rock.
Yeah.
However, I mean, so after COVID, I toured with a country rock band for a while,
sweet,
and I've done like R&B, done
even better.
yeah.
Yeah, I love R&B.
I love R&B.
Dude, some of the
but
best
yeah,
bass
if it's
lines.
rock, if it's country,
Yeah.
if it's R&B stuff, if it's metal, I play with metal bands too,
Sweet.
grunge. I'm a huge fan of almost anything contemporary.
Sure.
Yeah. No, and I'm a genuine fan of those genres. And,
Sure.
And
Yeah.
there's at least
I mean, a gig's a gig is a gig, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's awesome
Mm-hmm.
too. I mean, there's nothing wrong with sticking with one genre either.
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like you tiptoe everywhere.
But
Yeah.
your taste is so varied that you're like, yeah, I like that too.
Yeah.
yes, I have something I try to find in every genre that I like, and another thing too is it's really nice to. I'm huge on like genre
looking at
blendings,
those.
even in producing.
Yeah,
so
totally.
learning something from my R&B gig and then move or my church gig or something, and then transferring or adding it to something in a rock setting and vice versa, or a country setting, and even metal. There's just sometimes there's certain bass lines or
Dude.
licks or something.
It's all like just. It's
all music,
It's
baby.
knowledge too. Like I told you guys, I was just like on a Rage Against the Machine bass tab thing yesterday, where I just watched a dude play, a bunch of different dudes just play songs that I wanted to know, just because I'm like, hey, I remember like the bass line to this, but like, what is he actually doing? And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
sweet, like there's little extra things here. I'm like, I can put that in the bank. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
I got to play this video
Little tricks.
again,
Yeah, yeah.
and then just learn some more tricks.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you know, like doing all the different genres for you, especially the fact that you're like producing and recording people, only makes your availability to
Yeah, it's
all
just
the
a
bands.
broader
yeah.
palette.
Instead of like, oh, I only do pop rock bands, I only do rap, I only do whatever. They're just like,
Yeah.
I'll take
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to with how the margins are with producing. And, it's
Yeah, you can't say no to a client.
true.
Yeah,
I can't say no.
There are no no's.
I do have some minor qualifications like rules for.
But what
for-
are your
for
deal
I take.
breakers?
Yeah, what's the deal
Well,
breakers?
the biggest thing is the phone call or
The phone call.
in-person meeting or
Okay.
a Zoom call.
Okay.
When it's
Vibe
someone
check.
new,
Yeah.
I definitely, and then that will say a lot.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
And it's rare. It's really rare. But my big thing is I really want to keep up the communication,
Yeah.
and then it's a creative endeavor. So
Yeah.
I want to make sure that I'm also serving what the artist is looking for as well. And then what I can do versus what they want versus their budget versus their genre. And when I say their genre, it might be something hyper specific where I have maybe a general knowledge of, but it might be something really detailed.
Yeah,
that
Swedish death metal. You're probably.
it's like something
Yeah.
or oftentimes it could be where their scope is too narrow. They sound exactly like their favorite artist, and
Yeah.
there's no changing their mind.
Right.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
feel like that's where I find difficulty. Where if I come in, I don't want to be clashing with you,
Yeah.
during the whole process, because every demo you've showed me, every influence you showed me is the same thing.
And
And
we
if
already
it's,
have Dua Lipa.
yeah. So that's usually one of the qualification.
Yeah, it's also like just like you put, it's like using your producer to like getting a producer that's going to work with you, and being open to working with a producer. Like if you get a producer and your song is done, and there's no changing it, why do you have a producer? I'm just going to pay
you just need an
I'm going to
engineer.
pay you to be a yes man.
Yeah.
And
Like,
and
what
I've
about
had
this?
that conversation with artists where I mentioned in my calls with artists all the time. I'm happy to be a part of any part of the process. You know, if you just need an engineer, there are some artists. It's rare, but I've had artists that they're respectful about it. They're like, "Hey, this is my vision. I really just need an engineer."
Yeah.
And just
push the
tell me
buttons,
if I'm off time or not.
Yeah,
That's all the
I
all the
don't know
input I
how to
want.
record myself.
Yes,
Please help.
exactly.
Yeah.
They're like,
Yeah.
just give me a good tone or mic it up
Yeah.
a certain way
Yeah.
that makes me sound good, and I'm happy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, I'm glad we had this conversation up front.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm cool with that.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's
If you
why
know
I
that
know.
going in, yeah,
exactly.
That's your job. Yeah.
So to answer your question, it's
Yeah.
just a phone call. It's just having that you said vibe check and just seeing what they need and how I can be of help, and then stressing to the artist that, you know, the producer role, it's a collaborative endeavor. It's
Yeah.
it's definitely we're gonna have,
Yeah, that being said, I would have to
Yeah.
imagine you like being more involved creatively a little bit
Love
too.
it.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
I've
so.
actually the
Yeah.
last internship I did, I was offered a job to be hired on as like the engineer's assistant. But I saw and eventually they were looking to replace the engineer and then have me take that role. I turned it down. I'm really happy I did, but it was one of those situations where I felt like I was kind of in a mill where I just did one thing.
Yeah.
and it wasn't even. I'm not putting it down. I mean,
Sure.
But for me personally, it didn't feel like even a creative engineering where it was
Yeah.
like we were coming up with cool sounds. It was just
Yeah.
it was
Labor.
like
Press the
very
buttons.
much just
Yeah.
press the button.
Yeah.
You know, getting orders barked at you,
Yeah.
and then on to the next exact same thing.
Totally.
Right.
And I was like, well, this feels like an assembly line.
Yeah.
I feel more creative and I feel more drawn to doing.
Where's the soul, baby? Where's
Yeah.
the soul?
Yeah, and you know what? And I've met some, you know, like the engineer that I was learning under. He was a great mentor. He taught me a lot. He is has a type of mindset that he's cool just being that role, and he's
Yeah.
happy and fulfilled.
Oh, yeah.
and he loves his job.
It's two different things. It's two different things.
He has
Yeah.
a different part of the brain he's
Yeah.
using, and that's cool.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it's just that is just knowing.
Jeff
and-
Emmerich is not George Martin. They are two different people.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
I'm sure too, as you just keep growing your roster too, there'll probably be a point where maybe you're not exactly like that, but there'll probably be a point where you're like okay with not having, 42 dishes on your table. You know, you're like, all right, I only can handle 12 artists at a time. I will engineer for these other people though. Like I can come in and punch in and get this done for you, but I can't think about writing for you and fixing your music. So maybe that's where he's at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
there's something zen to just like, hey, do the job.
Yeah.
Don't have to worry about anything.
If you love your
Yeah.
studio, you probably
Yeah.
don't mind being there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll push the button.
And I'm been fortunate that I genuinely love every stage of the process. So when I was doing, even in high school, when I was doing live sound, loved it.
Yeah.
I don't really do live sound today. I'm just sticking in the studio, or if it's live, I'm performing.
But even still,
But
the joy of like
just-
miking up the
Yeah.
cabinet and getting like the right.
and the pride in hearing, like if we had a speaker, like there's been times where we've had speakers that had like a backing band. Where it was like they have
Jesus.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's Christian music.
Yeah.
But like hearing it back and then hearing it balanced, even as a 16-year-old, that joy.
Yeah.
I mean, 16,
yeah.
that's gonna be rad.
Yeah.
For the
And
whole
I'm like
school to-
pushing the fader and all the students, in the auditorium,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
That sounds fun. Yeah.
So being part of every part of the process and being able to have experiences where I dip my toe in songwriting, or whether it's engineering, producing, performing.
Okay, so
writing.
your least favorite part is editing and mixing, right?
I love mixing.
Okay.
I'm no joke.
Okay.
Okay.
Editing.
All right. I love
editing
mixing.
sucks because if you don't
Editing.
Editing.
Yeah, comping.
Editing.
if you don't like super structured repetitive shit, you're probably gonna hate lining up kicks.
Yeah.
or taking out dead noise.
Yeah.
Or replacing it with the other comp.
You know what? It was a blessing. It's not a curse, but that for that old saying, a blessing and a curse. because I interned with a vocal. The first internship I did 2 internships. The first one was with a vocal producer,
Yeah.
and he would work with people like Miley Cyrus and whatnot.
Yeah.
So like these huge
So I bet
artists.
your comping's really fucking good.
Well, it's all a learning process, right?
Yeah. Uh-oh.
No, you keep it going.
Yeah.
Thank you though.
Yeah.
But watching him, seeing him spend like literally an entire studio day just on editing the vocals.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
vocalist isn't even there. Melodyning it perfectly,
Yeah.
getting all the pops and everything.
Yeah.
But seeing how meticulous he was and why they would call him in to the sessions. But yeah.
Why they would send him raw shit and say, do what you do.
Yeah.
And one of the things I really learned from that was when he would get less than ideal sessions, even if it was an expensive session,
Yeah.
and having to make it better than how it was given to him.
Yeah.
That taught
Improve
me,
this. Yeah.
yes,
Dude.
that taught me a lot.
We had allegedly a guy in that might record bands that would redo people's tracks if they were so bad.
Oh, yeah.
Like if the guitarist was just awful, he would just redo it and put it out for him.
Yeah.
Oh,
Same as him.
I've heard stories like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is, less ideal tracks.
Yes, than ideal tracks. Get ideal tracks.
Yeah, dude. Hey, we're less than ideal tracks. 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, just redoing it without their knowledge.
Yeah.
I was looking up reamping techniques when doing this last record we did, and YouTube took me to a producer chat where he's like, yeah, so reamping, here's the track, and then he just plugs in a guitar and redoes it completely. I was like, that is not the information I'm looking for at all. But thanks, bro. Yeah. So my tone instead. Yeah.
Or another thing too is back to the phone call, having an honest conversation. I have this great story. I think the oddity will be cool with me sharing it. They're great. It's nothing. No, they're awesome people, and we've been in the talking right now about doing some stuff in January, but their latest single "On Fire," they were. I'm good for right now. Thank you. We had a couple Zoom calls, and they were like, hey, what's your? We want you to mix our song "On Fire." What's your honest opinion of the state of the demo we sent you? In terms of the track, and they explained to me how the drum stem was just a wave file, a stereo wave. There's no separation, and
Wow.
and instead of sharing with them my thoughts, I kind of tried to turn it around. I said, well, what are your thoughts and how do you feel?
Right.
And I use the word excited a lot, and when I'm talking to artists all the time, I try to stay away from the words good and bad because I feel like those are more subjective.
Yes.
But the emotion of excitement is almost involuntary. When you're excited about something, it doesn't matter what anyone thinks.
Yeah.
You think it's cool, and if you think it's cool, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
So I'll use words like, well, does this get you excited about this part or this song or whatnot?
Yeah.
But we had a long conversation, and by asking them questions without even revealing what I thought, because my first thought was I'm not gonna be able to work with it, and I did share with them at first. I said, well, it's gonna be difficult
It's gonna be tough, a little tough.
to mix drums. I said, and
A stereo file.
a stereo mix
Dude,
to
how do
try
you-
and
how
get
do you
Left
cut
and
it?
right of drums.
Yeah, how do you cut out a fucking
Yeah.
overhead bleed?
Yeah.
and the story was just like I don't know if they were wasn't like I don't know if they were pressed for time or the stuff they had they recorded all themselves. The session they did, something happened where that's all the file they
Oh
had.
my god, that's
But-
a nightmare. Bristol happened to to us.
Yeah.
It wasn't like it wasn't on purpose.
They
Like
may
something
have told
happened.
us on that episode, actually.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
they
Yeah.
did. Yeah, they totally
I remember.
did.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's the
so
lost song.
am I in the clear?
Yeah,
I think so.
It's
Yeah.
not your fault. Yeah.
So by having that conversation with them, it was more revealed to them that they weren't really excited about the drums handing them to me, and I explained to them, I was like, I want everything you guys send me, you guys are pumped about,
Yeah.
and it's not about whether the drums sound good or bad, because even if it's a stereo file, if you think that is the coolest thing, and that's on purpose,
Yeah.
Yeah.
then let's roll with it. Like let's run with it. Let's try
Make
to
it
elevate
cool,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's the
and
mojo.
If that's
the vibe.
your sound, that's your style.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna say it's bad. Like
Yeah.
I want to help make it even better than it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Can we
help-
distort it a little bit? Do you want to hear it like that?
let's get
Yeah.
creative.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I mean, we were talking about Rage. Like some of Zach's vocals are like through a bullhorn. Some of them are like him whispering. Some are
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be the
Right.
If
clearest.
that's your
Celine
artistic
Dion.
intention,
Yeah.
like let's go with it. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you have to feel excited. And when I was talking to the band in the Zoom call, they had kind of shared with me that, well, you know, this wasn't like intentional. It was kind of
Right.
on accident. We kind of are stuck with this.
Yeah.
I don't. And eventually they decided to re-record the drums. And then, you know, I explained to them on the phone. I was like, well, what mics do you have? What, you know, how are you recording your drums? And I was trying to share with them a couple things like, try this. This will make my job easier. Do this and that. And they ended up doing that. And then resending me the drums. And now, you know, I mixed it, added little samples here and there to get some more definition of kick and snare.
Yeah.
Allegedly. But I do that every time. And
Everyone does it.
Yeah,
I
everyone does
totally,
it.
I tell artists.
I think we
all the time.
triggered our whole
I think
thing.
the entire album is triggered on our.
but it's our samples.
Yeah. We did make our own samples.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
So I mean, I let them know, and
Yeah.
I tell everyone that
It's
if
not
it's even
a
the
big
drums
deal.
I record
Yeah.
at my studio,
Yeah.
I will sneak a sample underneath.
Yeah.
Not as a replacement, but more
Consistency.
as
Yeah.
consistency and an enhancement tool.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
beefing. You got to beef up the chorus sometimes, man.
It's standard at this point.
Yeah.
People
I
don't
mean,
just-
it's the same thing with pitch correction.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll
Right.
tell the artist. I'll be
Yeah.
like, hey, by the way,
You're really
do-
fucking flat the entire time.
song is sung in an entirely different key. I'm gonna have to.
Yeah.
Actually, I was given I was actually given a mix. What was it earlier in the year, where the artist didn't realize that the bass was off key by a half step in a section. It wasn't the whole time,
Okay.
but I think it was in the verses or maybe it was in the choruses.
They
And
just
the-
went to they just played the part just up or down or wrong.
Yes. So I actually uploaded the entire bass in a Melodyne and then Melodyned it,
Fuck yeah.
pitch corrected it.
I mean, tone's
Yeah.
tone.
Yeah, it's-
Luckily, it's not like.
And
it's
there was a
vocal.
couple times.
Did you get
Honestly-
a raw DI signal?
Yeah, I had a
You
DI.
crack it.
Yeah.
Totally fine.
So,
Dude, you see.
I've
It's not MIDI.
Yeah.
but like I'll tell the artist, I'll be like, hey, I think there's like a note off here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna change it or
Yeah.
you know.
yeah.
Most people don't care.
No.
But back to the
you're making
oddity.
them sound better.
Yeah.
Just by having that conversation, the fact that they weren't excited about what they were sending me,
Right.
there's nothing I can do to give you that excitement. And in past experiences, when I've taken on jobs like that, the artists, it's going to be a back and forth in the mix stage where we're going to have several mixed revisions, and at the end of the day,
It's still not.
they're still not
gonna
happy,
be Yeah.
and either they're going to want a refund or they're just not going to come back to me again for business,
Right.
and I don't want them telling their friends, "Oh, Mario screwed up my track,"
Exactly.
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
because they weren't happy in the first place.
Right.
Yeah, where's your fulfillment in that when you're just battling?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Producer chair is tough, man.
it's
So-
I don't want to do it.
Yeah. bands versus a producer is quite.
more and more. I'm learning. It's so much of it is psychology.
Dude, yeah, you're a therapist.
It's just listening to them and reflecting,
Yeah.
reading the room.
I
Yeah.
think it's maturity too, right? Like the earlier you are as a musician and as a band, the harder
That's
it's
true.
going to be on a producer to make anything work for them.
That's true.
As you work with producers more and you mature more, you're going to be more open to ideas and removing
Yeah.
symbols out of
Yeah,
an
taking
entire
symbols out.
track.
Yeah.
But why did they ask you about the drums? Because they didn't feel good about it to begin with.
They wanted my thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
shared with my honest thoughts. I was like, well, I mean, if this is your artistic
Yeah.
vision, I will work with this because I want to make sure you're excited about it. But
Yeah.
long story short, they weren't. They re-recorded the drums, sent
you
them
go.
to me. Super happy.
Easy fix.
The guitar, their guitar amp broke during the recording process, so they just used like a Logic guitar amp,
Okay.
and which is cool.
Yeah.
However, the Logic amp sim I felt like was a little lacking in some areas. So
100%.
I was like, hey, can you guys send me the DI track? I'll reamp it as well. So we have a blending of a reamp at my studio.
That's all I
and-
need. Yeah.
But it's all about that phone call. If I would have just said, yeah, send me the multi tracks, here's my rate.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you would
and-
have had a song that also less potential.
Yeah, that's the other thing
The
too. You would,
potential
and you
that-
don't even assume to ask about the drums. You know, like
Yeah.
then you're just working with these shitty stereo
Yeah,
tracks.
it's great
you know?
theories and great things that you live by.
Yeah.
There's this famous mixer. His name is Jason Joshua. There's something he said that really stuck with me. I don't know. It was some years ago when I saw this interview, but he was saying about, one of the things he does to students he mentors is he teaches them not to get a client, but to keep a client for life.
Yeah.
He mentioned to his students, like, ask yourself how or what can I do to make sure that I'm the last person this artist will ever co-do for anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with that mentality, I want to take the extra
You treat
time and a
everything
phone call
differently,
and you treat the song differently. And you're like, okay, this is going to be something permanent. I want to make sure that the artist loves it, not likes it, not, it's cool.
Yeah.
Like, and every part of the process is exciting. I want the artist excited about the song when it's written.
Yeah.
Excited about the pre-production. So when we have a demo, they're like, dude, this demo is like,
Dude, that's
awesome.
a huge philosophy.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so
It's
important.
massive. Yeah.
So that's part of my process and why I love producing
Yeah.
is seeing something. Example, like even just with the Oddity, I didn't produce the song, but I just mixed and mastered it. But just having that conversation, seeing it blossom, and then now talking to him after it was done and released, they're just like, man, we're so excited, like how everything sounds, and we're happy, we're loving it, and we want to come back to you. And that for me, that's like the best.
Dude, it
feeling.
shows the like loyalty that you gain from people, that the fact that the Oddity recorded them themselves and then came to you to be like, hey, we're like,
What do we do?
What
Yeah.
about these drums?
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah. And then they're like, yeah, we're gonna redo and come back. Yeah, we're the same way. Like people that we work with and places that we go and whatnot. If we have a great time there and they're good, solid people,
We'll do it again.
We're
Yeah.
loyal as fuck.
Yeah.
Like the place that we have shitty times and people that suck, we don't go or talk about them.
Yeah.
Like it's just water on the bridge doesn't work, but
It-
just like
I think your philosophy and mentality is probably super rare in the production world.
yeah, 100%.
You know, because there are so many.
Give me your money.
There's so many. This is my day job, or I'm just trying to build up some quick cash, or the dark sunglasses, do it one more time, or the hey, here's everything I ever know about music. Okay, now let's get to recording real quick.
Yeah.
There's
6 hours
so
in.
many.
Yeah,
There's so
yeah.
many different people who sit at that
Greg, I
seat
talked
and
about
when
not talking about these people.
that's
We've worked with all of them.
yeah,
Well,
but
yeah.
in the production world, there are just those
Oh, yeah.
types that get,
And that's only a few.
and that's just no.
Yeah.
But there's types of producers, right?
Right.
And
I hear that all the time.
I'm having PTSD
Just-
right now.
no, seriously,
like two days.
it's I'm not talking about anyone
just a
specific.
couple
I'm
days
talking about
ago,
producers.
An artist I was
Yeah.
working with told me we were doing pre-production. I'm doing this album with this artist, and they were saying to me that the last producer they went to wouldn't allow the artist to play any of the instruments because it would take too long.
Then what's the fucking point?
And I'm like,
What?
it's your
Yeah.
song.
Yeah. Why are you even
Wait,
there?
why are you recording?
And the artist
yeah.
was like, wow, like you're letting me play guitar. I'm like, well, it's your song. You wrote it on guitar, right? You've
Yeah.
been practicing. Like,
Yeah.
even though it's pre-production, it's scratch because we were just demoing it out, getting
Yeah.
everything to a click.
yeah,
And
why would you
whatnot.
play it?
And the look on their face when I was like, what do you mean? Like, of course.
Yeah.
And then I looked at them and I said, I want you all over these songs. This is
Yeah.
you. And I said, I was telling them about, there's some examples where I'm a bassist. I went to school for bass. However, sometimes some artists, they have a vision and they want to play bass
Yeah.
and they bring their bass and I'm like, I'll mic you up or I'll
Yeah.
DI you. And I no hard feelings. Like, I just let,
Yeah, it's your
what
song.
helps.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's your song. Like I'm happy that you're hiring me to
Yeah.
be a part of this. And
Yeah.
that's-
So
what
weird.
what
Yeah.
do you need?
So
I can
I'm
do
like-
bass. I can do. I
yeah.
can do whatever you want.
And if you want to do it,
I'm
that's
still
totally
going
cool.
back to that dude who won't let you play instruments. Like,
Dude,
what,
it's so
what do
fucked.
they actually want you to
Like,
do?
also, why wouldn't you? Yeah, why wouldn't you let?
That's
like,
that's a this
bring
is
your
my
shit,
no.
sound like
That's
you.
a that's a this is my day job. I know exactly how to do exactly what I do
Yeah.
in the time allotted. You're gonna come in and give me your bullshit, and I'm gonna turn it spat bomb boom. You.
I
have
could
it.
only think that works in the sense of you have some pop artist
Yeah,
that just
that
has a
doesn't have a-
melody
yeah.
that can't play guitar, can't. But how?
that's-
Like,
That's the but
This
that's,
artist is a songwriter and
There you
sent
go.
me the demos that they did on their iPhone
Right.
were our finished songs. And then
Yeah.
they even took the time to print out lyric sheets and like
Yeah,
chord
yeah.
charts. It says, hey, Mario, check
Yeah.
this out. This is my song. And the only thing they didn't have was a working demo. And that was the point of pre-production was
Yeah.
to get
Yeah.
a working demo to a click, Well, the way I do pre-production, I'll share really quickly.
Yeah, please.
There's 3 goals of my pre-production, and number 1 is to get the song structure down, experiment, see where we can take the song, and take risks where it's calculated. And if, say, we shortened a section and you get the demo home and you're like, you know what, I really like that section, I'm back. It's better than having all these session musicians come in, pay all this money, do all this extra studio time, mixing, mastering, all that, for you to say, you know, I really didn't like what we did.
Yeah.
So you can live with it. And so the first thing is having a working demo to a click, start to finish with the arrangement, and then getting some sort of scratch guitar or scratch piano, something that has chords so you can hear the music played back to you, and then something that keeps time. I use Easy Drummer often.
Yeah.
And I was explaining to this artist that even though I use Easy Drummer, this artist was like, hey, I might want 808 or some other electronic synth.
Yeah.
I'm like, totally
that's-
cool.
that's MIDI,
I
baby.
said, these are, I was like, these are MIDI drums.
Yeah.
This is the same way we use scratch guitar just to put the chords in audio to hear it back.
Yeah.
The Easy Drummer is keeping time and using a beat to express the feel of how you feel the song. But yeah, we could replace the drums, and so that's what I do. All 3. I think I missed one. No, I did all
said
3.
three.
Yeah, you said 3. Yeah.
Yeah,
Work.
3.
I love Easy
beat-
Drummer, but
Yeah.
there will never be a patch that does Oliver Dobrian, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
So. Had to get it in once. Had to get it in once. Yep.
I don't think we're gonna get it anywhere else.
Yeah.
No, but Easy Drummer doesn't have feels that real drummers have. That's
Yeah.
just. That's
Oh,
just,
no.
Yeah, I mean,
it never
it's
will.
MIDI.
Great for demoing.
MIDI
Yeah,
drums
great for
never do.
I bought the songwriter sample pack, and it has like 500 different loops from rock, pop, country,
Yeah.
metal,
Yeah.
any contemporary, even jazz, Latin.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
So and I'll be sitting. There's times where I'm working with a band and the drummer's in the room, and I explained to the drummer, I said, "This is just so we can come up with a part that serves the song the same way we come up with guitar licks and melodies. The drums need to have hooks too.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
And in about 15 minutes, we can cycle through at least 100 different drum loops to get the feel." And then you're going to go in there and kill it.
Yeah,
so
kick
it's
pattern
nothing
alone,
on you.
that's
Yeah,
like- that's like
finding the
yeah,
kick
yeah.
to meet the melody to really elevate the song.
Yeah. I'm gonna do a skeleton. You need to put the meat in the meat on it.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I mean, we already had worked through things and done somewhat room demos of all the songs that eventually made this last LP we just released, but there was still in the process a version that had the progression with fake drums on
Yeah,
it.
with the
Just that way all
garage
3 of
band
us
drums
could
again.
hear it kind of fleshed out as a song, like,
Exactly.
you know,
Yeah.
real shitty. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
the guitar's bad, the bass is bad, whatever, but just like,
yeah.
That's what pre-production is.
here's
yeah.
the length of it, here's what we're working with, and then I can just
Yeah. See it, but
drive and sing to it so that
Yeah.
when I come to the 3 of us in a room,
Yes.
I can sing what I was singing in the car, and then we can get a new version of it with a better
Yeah.
everything
And
else.
you guys know this, but just for the podcast, the beauty of pre-production is that there's a different vibe that enters the studio on the actual day of tracking
Oh, yeah.
that I
Oh,
can
yeah.
just see, and it's a vibe of confidence
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
security.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah, yeah,
artists, or if it's session musicians that have got received the demos ahead of time to learn,
Yeah.
they come in, the first take, after we get levels, they just kill it in a way where it's under their fingers or in their hands. They're not thinking about it. They're now
Playing it.
it
Yeah.
in the context of how it relates to the song, and it's a whole different performance.
Yeah,
Totally.
I think like the whole we did no more than like 5 takes a song, right? Like
Yeah,
I think a
the
lot of
max.
them were 3.
Yeah.
Like we would do a
It's
run.
3 to 5 is
Yeah, we would do a
Yeah.
run.
Yeah, I
I
do
guess
about
like
that.
4. So could we do a run through for
Yeah.
practice, and then we just do 3.
It's just because there might be taste your fills in that one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's
You know?
also sometimes it just starts weird, or the verse feels
Yeah,
weird.
yeah. I mean,
and
it's never
just-
for me, it's almost never the first one, unless it's fucking magical for some reason. You know.
Yeah, I
But,
never take
like,
the first one.
Yeah.
I
No.
always
It's
go,
almost
I always
never
go
the
to
first
3 and work backwards.
Yeah, I do about 3.
Comic, yeah.
and with the producing and psychology, sometimes it's also I try to get a vibe on the type of musician that's walking in the room. Like there are some musicians
Right.
where they actually benefit from 10 takes, given like we have the time allotted
Yeah,
for
yeah,
it.
Right.
And there's other musicians where it's like, oh wait, take 2 is like perfect, and every take after that is
Diminishing.
still trying
Yeah,
to
you're
match.
wearing them down.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just learning that and trying to.
Yeah,
for me,
everyone's different on
for me,
that.
that's fun for me. It's But one of my life goals is to whatever I do, I just want to have fun doing it as long as I can
It's
and
great.
feel fulfilled.
It's great that you're obsessed with the process.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
I love it.
So many artists, musicians, whatever, players, you name it. It's a grueling undertaking, right? All the different stages and what it takes to get from idea to fucking master is just quite a process,
Yeah.
right? That this next one I'm trying to minimize. Next LP I want to plug in, get it good, and
Well, this last one was literally our first time ever using the space. So now that we actually
Right.
know how to do it a little bit, it'll be
also-
faster in nature.
we got cellular on this thing.
Yeah,
for
Yeah,
sure.
we also went in on this last album with the idea of we don't do production. Let's go production heavy.
Yeah.
So we went you're doing alternate percussion for days. We're
Yeah,
putting
yeah.
fucking
Synths on everything.
And
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, all the extra shit. And
It
this
was a shitload of fun.
yeah, dude, sounds great. And
We
then
got to flex all the muscles.
this
that the
next
space
one,
can
we're
do,
like,
yeah.
let's try to do it
rock.
live.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that's
awesome.
what we're gonna go for.
Yeah.
It's gonna
be
be a
nice
different
to get it
experience.
live.
We also have
Yeah.
a reamp box.
I
That's a
have the
big thing.
same one. I use that with the
Yeah.
Oddity stuff. We
Sweet.
have I have a Supro combo amp that's an 8-inch speaker, and it has one knob. That's it.
Ah, beautiful.
So my first internship,
Like the champ.
yeah, my first internship I did. The producer had this. It was friends with the Stone Temple Pilots, or that is Robert DeLeo, the bass player.
Okay.
And as a gift, he was given this little 8-inch Vox Student amp, and it doesn't even have an on switch. It has a soft turn knob that clicks.
Oh,
Super old school.
Yeah.
It's a little
Technically
8-inch
an on
speaker.
switch.
It has a giant bar in front of the speaker, of course. So and that was the same amp that was used on Interstate Love Song.
God
Wow.
damn it.
And it sounded
God damn.
amazing. And ever since then, I've been on the search for a tiny little amp that you can crank to 11 with one knob.
Yeah.
And Supro makes one. When I was touring, so I guess, yeah. What were you
See,
gonna say?
now now we're getting into gear talk and
Bergman.
4 hours later.
Nate Berg.
Yeah, Nate. He should probably meet Nate. Nate does that
Nathan
one.
Bowers,
Yeah, he does an amp that I think is just one fucking knob, and it sounds pretty awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah.
His
Do you have a
prototype,
Champion
right?
500? Grab a Champ 500.
I don't have a Champ.
They're
No.
cheap.
That's cool.
Yeah, they're cheap. They're 8-inch Webers
Okay.
and one knob.
Do you have a Blues Junior?
No, I just have one tiny little combo.
I was
yeah.
using that question just to dig at Craig, but it's okay.
No, it's cool.
He's got one now.
Yeah, I don't have to. Right. All I have is no. It's just you know what. A lot of the stuff in my studio, because it's a smaller studio, I just try to find things that are the most
Functional.
versatile.
Yeah.
And because I already have a little 8-inch combo, even though I was looking at the Blues Juniors too, this Supro, that's what I have, a little Supro 8-inch. It's the 64 reissue. It's the same one that.
Craig's got one. It's awesome.
I have,
You have the Supro 64?
It's
I
10
don't think
It's
it's
10 inch
64.
10 inch?
Yeah.
No, I have a
Love
Blues.
Supro amp.
I have a
The
Blues King 12.
Oh,
Nice.
12?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was
Sorry.
all-
Yeah.
nice.
Either way, the Supros sound great.
I'm a 12-inch.
Yeah, you are.
My sound
That's what she
is a
said.
12-inch
Yeah, you are.
speaker.
That's amazing.
I tried
what she
10,
I'm a
but
12
tried-
inch.
Yeah.
He's a 12.
It's always a 12. Yeah.
The latest Dancing Skeletons single, we used
A 1-inch
A,
car speaker.
right. I know. We used the bullhorn.
Like a guitar in the bowl.
Delta King 8.
Yeah. Jorge has a AC-15.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, that's cool.
What do you have?
No, I have the 19. It's called the 60. It's like a bunch of numbers. It's the 64 something. It's the same amp that the guitar player of Aerosmith, Joe Perry,
Yeah.
uses live.
Oh.
And there's a lot of I want to say Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top. He doesn't use that exact amp, but he uses a small combo. There's a lot of
Dude, they
famous
all
guitar
do.
players.
Yeah.
They have these wall of dummy
Oh,
amps.
yeah, dummy amps
Yeah.
all day. Yeah, we just told that story.
Yeah, we were
the other
lucky
day,
enough to know CC DeVille from Poison, and his whole wall is just a Blues Junior on the side.
Yeah.
That's what he's mic'd
So many of
through.
those guys have the little tiny amp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because you crank it, you get this amazing
Yes.
tone,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
it's mic'd anyways.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
going to be loud as fuck through the song.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
no speakers in any of those
Yeah,
cabinets.
in Poison, they're
It's
all
just-
empty.
that's
It's
hilarious.
Just boxes. They're
Yeah.
literally boxes.
Yeah, it's just sometimes not even boxes. It's just the fronts.
Nice.
It's just like 6 inches of the front of a cabinet.
It's a frame. It's
That's
just a frame.
hilarious.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
frame. Wow.
Yes.
That Vox amp's great though too. The AC-15.
AC-15.
for
So we
sure.
combine that with my little Supro,
Sick.
Dude, that's all you need. Blend.
Yeah.
Blend it, baby.
So there was last year I was at I was recording I was playing bass at Cherokee Studios. It's right next to Paramount.
Okay.
And the band I was playing in, the band I was actually touring in. So I was playing in lots of different bands. I know we're kind of jumping around
No,
here.
we're good.
Consistently
We're
off.
good.
Welcome,
Yeah,
to, welcome to
consistently off.
Yeah.
It didn't work at the
Consistently jumping
beginning.
around.
So.
Yeah, that's what we do. Rabbit
all
holes
good.
is what we do.
So before 2020, I was not touring, but I was playing around LA a lot with a lot of different bands and whatnot. And then one band was a country rock band called American Mile. They're still touring and playing
Lee
shows.
Piatelli.
Oh.
Yeah, Lee. Yeah,
Lee.
he's a good friend.
Shout out Lee.
Yeah, Lee
dude.
Piatelli.
Yeah.
Dude,
He played with
he's
them.
the most-
I was play bass.
He's the most fit musician we know.
He's
He's actually
so
lost
nice.
weight. He's super cool.
He's
yeah,
like one
so
of the
nice.
nicest dudes like
yes.
ever.
So I toured with Lee for over a year.
Great. Is he just a sweetheart on the road as he is like every day?
Yeah, he's cool. I
I was thinking of fucking Lee.
Yeah, you were thinking of the
Panic.
other Lee.
Yeah, sorry, my bad.
Yeah,
Head check? No.
Yeah, sorry, my bad.
Yeah, Lee Piatelli
My
is
bad.
awesome.
Yeah.
So
Sorry,
there was a
sorry, Lee.
band I joined American Mile almost like I think 2018. We started doing shows and whatnot, and then we did little tours here and there, and then not until after 2021, we got picked up by a booking agency and started doing a lot of just touring. We did this route where we were in an RV that eventually
Nice.
broke down.
As they do.
They all do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like an RV does. Yeah.
Broke down on the Tejon Pass
Of
while we were
course.
going up. I was the one driving to.
Transmission is it?
Engine blew up.
Oh.
Ours caught on fire.
Oh no!
That
But yeah,
video
so-
that I took like forever ago is at 33% uploaded.
Well,
Just so you know.
Dang.
I just wanted to bring that up.
trench season.
Yeah.
It's never happening, dude.
So we there was a booking agency that was based in Northern California. We did this route from L.A. to Arizona up through like Reno, Nevada, Idaho,
Ooh,
down
yeah.
through Northern California. And then those after I left the band.
As soon as you get back to the coast, my eyebrows come back up because
Yeah.
that drive, we were just talking to Luke about it.
Oh.
Those drives are weird. Those
just
night desert,
empty deserts.
Idaho,
Yes.
Nevada,
Yeah.
Utah.
Oh,
You're in the
yes.
Twilight
Spooky.
Zone.
It makes you think about yourself.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, it's.
I love
yeah.
turning off the lights and just using the moonlight to just drive.
Just like our
Yeah.
ancestors, yeah.
Yeah. Hit on the free
Stars.
headlight sight.
Yeah.
Our forefathers have horror.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and that's when Lee joined the band in 2021. Because in 2020 it was a band of three brothers.
just called Three Brothers.
And eventually each brother
There's
left.
no cousin in this one.
Eventually, each brother
except for one.
left.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
What's
so
up, everyone?
at
I'm the
first it
last
was-
brother.
Yeah.
2, 3, 4.
At first it was three brothers, then it was two brothers, and then
It was
just,
one
then just
brother.
the
one
dude.
brother.
And then he left and it was no brothers.
There's no brothers. Yeah, now it's just a hologram.
Oh, I guess single brother could just be brother.
Yeah.
Brother.
We're brother.
What's up, poor brother?
So yeah, so we did a lot of touring with them, and Lee was playing drums, and Lee's a great singer, by the way. I don't know if you know that.
don't know.
He's an amazing singing drummer, and he loves
go.
to sing.
Yeah.
And
He was a singing drummer at the audition.
he has
too.
a really high voice, like a high
Yeah.
register.
He's like a Don Henley thing going on.
Yes, he loves Don Henley.
Yeah, right?
I mean,
Just mention Don
Henley's
Henley to
pretty
him, and he'll
Yeah,
just
yeah.
start talking, and he won't stop. Yeah,
Welcome to the Don Henley Show.
yeah.
I mean, talk about singing drummers.
Yeah.
Is it Don Henley and who?
Lee Von Helm.
well, he also loves
Lee
Phil
Von Helm's
Collins.
probably the
Yeah.
best.
What?
The
Don
dude from-
Henley?
I don't give a shit, dude.
Aaron
Lee Von-
Gillespie.
Lee Von Helm is just like.
Well, it's funny. Lee's
beyond.
a huge Phil Collins fan. If you start talking to him about Phil Collins, he won't
He
stop.
hates Phil
Dude,
Collins.
I just watched a video.
This is why Lee didn't join this band.
Oh, he auditioned for Film
He
Speed?
did.
yeah.
No way.
Uh,
Yeah.
You guys have probably seen like the Chad Smith "Here's 30 Seconds to Mars" for the first
Oh,
time.
yeah,
plays
yeah,
it.
yeah.
So that same channel or the recording studio, they have a dude come in and it's the longest Phil Collins
Oh, yeah.
Phil
just
ever.
goes out there.
And it's just
Yeah.
like, do. He does it like
Yeah,
to
yeah.
50 cents,
yeah,
dude. He
yeah,
like
yeah.
walks
Goes
upstairs
out
out
the
the
door,
door.
yeah,
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then he literally sits down and then just goes right into the song.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the only time I'd listen to that song.
Yeah. Because it's the best part of the
Yeah,
song.
absolutely. I
Yeah.
mean, it's also fucking hilarious. So you should watch it. I'm telling you guys.
Yep. Shout out Drumeo.
Stapleton and Snoop Dogg for Sunday Night Football.
I thought you said Monday.
For Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
Dude,
Stapleton
Wow.
and Snoop Dogg in the air tonight, Monday Night Football. Look it up. It's not great.
Wow. I didn't know that existed.
I don't even like that
Dude,
song.
so
You were
begin
talking
with,
about
so-
engineers doing their job. Talk about artists just doing their job.
Oh,
who does the Sunday night songs? That's
Carrie
yeah,
Underwood.
dude.
Yeah.
I can't believe she's still doing that.
That's been.
She's
She's
does a
waiting
new-
all day,
She
dude.
does a new one every year.
She's
Yeah.
waiting all day.
every game.
Every game.
Is it every game?
Yeah, she's got to say the team names.
Yeah, she's gonna talk about the teams.
Yeah.
Just like Hank too did.
No, she probably punches that shit in.
Yes, of
It's,
course
of
she
course.
does.
Yeah. She
But
punches
every
those
week,
2 lines. Yeah.
every year, whatever. They
Yeah,
have to
yeah, yeah.
refresh
I
them.
Yeah, she just
You're
punches
right.
those 2
But anyways,
lines.
Yeah.
there's a new version every year with different.
Come on. Okay, I have
Different arrangement?
a
Yeah,
couple
okay.
closer questions.
Okay.
And the first of the closer questions is: do you have a Mount Rushmore of producers? I mean, Rick Rubin. You know,
Yes.
It's like that.
he's the Washington Monument if you
Yeah.
want.
Yeah.
And it's fine
Rick
to do that.
Rubin's-
Travis Barker is probably one of the best drummers ever.
He is.
Sure, no, but in like
Jimi
the-
Hendrix,
yes.
probably one of the best guitarists.
in like making
Problem.
if not Stevie
Problem.
Wonder.
making a record, you're like your top. You know,
Yes, definitely. Rick Rubin's up there, number one, probably. The other one's Flood. I don't know if you know who that is.
Oh, yeah.
He goes by Mark Ellis.
Yeah.
He's produced some really influential albums.
yeah.
And
What's your favorite of his?
of Floods,
Yeah.
probably the Downward Spiral.
Oh.
However, like it's obviously Depeche Mode. But what I like about Flood is that he had a cool story where he engineered Joshua Tree.
Right.
And you know the story where you
I don't.
two. Oh, okay.
Well,
You two basically called him. After engineering Joshua Tree, he was the biggest engineer in the world.
Yeah.
Sure.
Pretty much.
yeah.
Phone's ringing off the hook. But he really wanted to produce. He loved the production. He didn't want to just be
The micer.
just the mic guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
And and he didn't want to get typecasted. He was talking about it's easy to get typecasted as the one guy doing the one specific
Yeah,
job.
It's easy to do it. Actors,
So-
it happens to actors all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
So I think that U2 they were going to record another album or something, and he got this big opportunity to be an engineer, and he ended up turning it down. And he said that could have killed his career to do smaller bands productions.
Nice.
But by doing that, it ended up opening the door for him to get with Depeche Mode, and then that changed
Yeah.
his career forever. And I what I love about his story, long story short, is just how he was willing. He was essentially set for life.
yeah.
Had made a name for himself.
I could be
but
U2's engineer
wasn't-
forever.
Yeah, it wasn't an engineer for anyone else.
Yeah,
of
yeah,
that
of
caliber.
course, of course,
yeah,
of
He's also known as the engineer for that
Yeah.
album.
Yeah, yeah.
Until
yeah,
ever.
Yeah.
yeah.
Until everyone
exactly.
dies and the earth burns up.
So there's someone who, what's inspiring is that he could have just stopped there, went down in history, and would have a pretty much as long as he was not you didn't do something stupid to get like arrested or anything.
right, exactly. yeah.
He didn't blow up something.
But I love that
Um,
example.
He could just do that forever,
Yeah.
and people would just be calling him for that.
Okay, is Rob Cavallo on your list?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Cavallo's done some fucking the most orchestral giant fucking thing.
You know what's funny? If you listen to his productions, he has I don't know if they're bells or like a Celeste or something, but
Yeah.
in every
Yeah.
in Green Day and Paramore, there's like
Oh yeah, all the
so-
blocks.
He has-
Yeah, the Glockenspiel.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can pick it. I was like, oh, did he produce that song too? And I would look it up.
and like tubular bells and shit. Like he's very orchestral
Yeah.
in that sense. Like I wouldn't be surprised if he's like, oh, I wrote a symphony. Like, oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that makes sense.
And then also Butch Vig.
Oh,
of course,
God.
of course,
Can't forget
Butch,
Butch
yeah.
Vig.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can't
Yeah.
forget Butch Vig.
He's also pretty iconic looking. So
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that and then Steve Albini.
Albini.
Yeah, Albini
Yeah.
all day.
yeah,
What inspires me about Steve Albini is just his philosophy.
So that being said,
Yeah.
never mind her in utero.
damn, dude.
because
Damn, he did
Gotta
say
ask.
it.
Yeah.
Double-edged sword. You
Yeah, I
gotta
know, right?
drown
So
someone. You
tough.
gotta
Never
drown a
mind
baby.
all day.
okay, well,
Oh really? I'm team in
from a
utero.
production standpoint, never mind.
Okay.
But from like a songwriting and just like, I love In Utero. Like
Yeah.
I love that album.
Nevermind was an album that I like grew up listening to
Yeah,
when I was
Yeah. It's
I'm in
so
utero.
hard because there's things I love about both, and they're
Yeah.
very different.
It's super different, yeah.
from why I love each one.
Sure.
The reasons are very different.
This
Yeah.
takes me right into perfect album. Just one.
Yeah, I'm sure
'Cause
there's a
I'm,
million.
I'm sure
yeah.
there's a dozen.
Yeah.
While you think about that, don't forget to use the code word Mario Dileva to get 10% off of your next recording session
Not
at
true.
A little Chiron code.
His own name.
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
discounts
yeah.
against
Yeah,
his
yeah.
own services.
Well, no one's tried it yet, so let's
Yeah.
try it.
Dude, perfect album is so tough.
I believe there's multiple.
Yeah, I've got
no
tons.
skip.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's no- it's not a one
Rumors
album.
by Fleetwood Mac.
Sure.
Of course.
That one's
of
pretty
course.
perfect.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course.
There's like, for me, it's a cross between Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
Did
and-
you say for
and-
me?
Oh. For me. Yeah.
For me,
Yeah.
for me. I'm torn between Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band and Abbey Road
Okay. I'm Team Abbey
because
Yeah, me too.
I lean towards Abbey Road, but Sgt. Pepper's like really
But Sgt.
set the
Pepper does-
stage.
yeah, but
Like,
Sgt.
it's just changed rock.
Yeah.
Also,
It's all-
Pet Sounds.
It's got a lot of
Yeah,
good
Pet Sounds too,
characters.
of
Oh, Pet Sounds is so good.
Wish You Were Here by Pink
Floyd.
Floyd.
These
Yeah.
are perfect albums, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you're going
Now,
back. To
now
your,
there's just a million. Yeah.
Now you're back
Yeah.
to your 8-year-old self, like
Oh my
the
old,
new-
yeah,
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 so
the
it's
collection,
really
yeah.
stuff you grew up on, right?
We can pull this on
Another
you then
one.
to stop you is how if you were stuck on an
Just
island
alone, yeah.
in the middle of nowhere, tropical paradise, right?
Yeah.
We're not
Sure.
gonna go
Yeah.
desert. We
You're
gotta
not gonna
We
die.
gotta amend this.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, but you could only listen to one album. You only have one album.
For the rest of
your
time.
CD player and that CD will play for the rest of your life.
It's not
What would it be?
torture, but when you want
Yeah,
to
yeah,
listen
yeah.
to music, this is what
This
you
is all
have.
you have for human music for the rest of your
All I
life.
have rest of my life.
Yeah.
Oh man.
You are stuck to a little bit, so maybe that'll help you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe Abbey Road.
All right.
Yeah.
But
that's my answer.
But I don't
That's my
want
answer, yeah.
I don't want you
There's
guys
no
to
wrong
think
answer.
that I just listen to like my favorite albums are the old albums. The other ones
No,
would
dude.
be like more modern albums would be
Whatever.
Dizzy Up the Girl. By,
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
That was another one, even though it was from my childhood. American Idiot by Green Day. That's
Yeah,
another
sure,
iconic
sure,
album.
sure.
But if
Demon
you're-
Days by Gorillaz.
But if you're stuck on the island,
Stuck
that's
in
the
the
only
You
one.
only get one.
My
Probably
answer's
Abbey
Abbey
Road.
Road.
yeah,
Okay.
Why? Because, man, it's either
because
Abbey
it
Road or
has all
Wish You
the
Were Here.
genres.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Abbey Road has all the genres, and Abbey Road is one of those albums, kind of like Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd, where I can listen to on repeat, and I still find things
Oh,
that
yeah.
I didn't
Every
know
time. Every time.
Yeah.
every
think-
time.
Yeah.
And that's what's iconic about those albums.
Yep.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's a great choice.
Nothing wrong.
Okay, wrap up. Final question.
Okay.
What song do you want to play on the end of this episode? Could be yours. Could be a band you work with. Could be
Just
Abbey
fucking-
Road.
Yeah,
Could be
all of Abbey Road.
Her
We don't
Majesty.
make money off
yeah,
of this, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
what
we
you
don't care
choose.
about copyright strikes, just or your own songs
Yeah,
or
it's-
whatever. Yeah.
It can absolutely be anything that you want. That's
Yeah.
what we're
You know what? There's a song that I co-wrote.
Okay.
that I think it'd be fun. I
Okay.
haven't heard in a while. It's called "Done with You" by Edgewater Angel.
Excellent. Are you
All
able
right.
to send it to us?
Yeah, I can.
It is playing right
Yeah,
now.
here we go.
Thanks for doing it.
Consistently